everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Olivia here at the Olivias Romantic Home, and in today's video I am so excited to share with you 50 DIY Dollar Tree decor crafts. So this is another episode of my huge I Love Fall series. I love to share with you guys how you can make your homes boutique gorgeous on a teeny tiny budget. Now this is a compilation video of all of the DIY projects we have done so far in 2020. So you guys, let's go ahead and plug in those glue guns, get out your glitter and paint, and let's get to crafting. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to create a super adorable pumpkin banner using these Dollar Tree wooden cutouts. I'm painting 2 of them with this orange acrylic paint, and then I'm going to take 3 of them and I'm going to Mod Podge this pretty paper onto the front of them. So I'm just tracing out the paper to fit the size of the wooden cutout, and then once I have that done, I'm going to add a generous layer of Mod Podge. Be generous with your Mod Podge here because the wooden cutouts do absorb the Mod Podge quickly, so you kind of have to work a little bit quickly. Now I'm adding the little Mackenzie Childs checkerboard kind of scrapbook paper, and I did get this at Hobby Lobby. And then you're just going to add another really generous layer of Mod Podge to the front of your wooden cutout, and voila, you have a bunch of really cute little pumpkins. Now I'm going to take this Dollar Tree furniture marker pen. You find it in the automotive section at Dollar Tree or the Fix It section, and I'm just going to use it to color some little ridges in my pumpkin just to give it a little bit more detail. Now this step is optional, but that little bit of detail kind of is going to make your item look a little bit more high end. I also colored the pumpkin stem. I also had some paints out, so I decided to add a little bit more detail with some white paint. So I'm just using some of the Dollar Tree acrylic white paint, and I'm adding some stripes down the kind of the front of my pumpkins just to give it a little bit of dimension. It gives it that boutique finish. Once I have that step finished, I'm going to take some of the Dollar Tree floral wire. I chose the gold, and I'm just going to wire my pumpkins together. So I'm leaving several inches between each one, and I'm wrapping the piece of wire around the top, and that's going to help it hang nicely. I hate when I make a garland and the things like flop around, so the wire is actually the perfect way to make them hang just where they hang perfectly. I hope that makes sense. And there's already little holes in the top of this. Now you could always use some jute twine as well, or any pretty ribbon would work. Here it is popped into my beautiful fall display, and oh my goodness, this is probably one of my favorite videos I have ever made for you guys, so stay tuned because we are going to do some amazing crafts, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys some really fun and fabulous fall decor. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to create a splatter screen pumpkin. Now my Dollar Tree only had 2 splatter screens, so I picked up this wire mesh round circular, I think it's a topper to keep flies out maybe. Anyway, I had to unscrew the little thing from the side, and now I'm just going to take each one of the handles from the splatter screen and bend them backward. Now the way I found to do this was to take some wire and just wire these first 2 pieces together while they were standing up, because you want your pumpkin to stand up. Now if you don't want your pumpkin to stand up, you can always just remove the little splatter screen handles and you could hang this. Now I'm adding that last little screen, and you can see there's still that hole in it, but don't worry, we're going to cover that hole. I'm using Dollar Tree floral wire, and I'm just wiring the center part together. Now comes the fun part. I decided to add deco mesh to this. You could always just paint your splatter screen pumpkin with some orange paint. That would totally work too. I was fresh out of orange paint, and I had this deco mesh I needed to use up, so I'm taking and cutting several pipe cleaners in half, and then I'm going to pipe cleaner the top part of the splatter screen and then the bottom part as well, fairly close to the edge, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the deco mesh, and I ended up using 4 rolls of Dollar Tree deco mesh, and you're going to take the deco mesh and just center it in between each one of your pipe cleaners and tie it together 2 times. That's going to be on there really nice, and then pull it a little bit tight, not super tight, but just so it lays flush against your splatter screen, and then you can flip it over and run it down the front. So as you can see, I'm tying everything in the back. That way the front of our pumpkin is clean from any of our pipe cleaners. So you're just going to wrap it around and then again center it on top of that pipe cleaner and just crisscross the pipe cleaner twice, and it is on there. This is so easy, you guys. Oh my goodness, you're gonna have so much fun with this one. So I'm winding the deco mesh around this twice. That way it covers the little splatter screen. And then I'm moving about an inch away from my last bit of ties, and I'm beginning to tie again. So you can just center your ties about an inch apart as you go down the splatter screen. This does not have to be perfect, you guys. Just take a deep breath and have fun with this one, and then you'll just take that deco mesh and continue to wind it around. And if you didn't really have pipe cleaners, you could also use some floral wire. That would work super great, and you don't necessarily even have to go 1 inch apart. I was really trying to be very careful with my mesh because I only had 4 rolls of the pumpkin color and I did not want to run out. So as you can see, I'm gathering it again and I'm just centering the mesh on top of the pipe cleaner. You twist the pipe cleaner twice and voila, you can keep going with this. Now the Dollar Tree deco mesh, for some reason, it doesn't come all the way on one roll, so you could see that the end of the roll kind of started right there, or the end of the piece. But here's how it should look. It's just tied on the front and then you're going to see your work on the back. Again, here's my ties about an inch apart, and then I'm beginning to add more ties to kind of space about another inch apart. So you're going to continue to do this method where you tie the deco mesh to the back of your splatter screen and then just wind it around the front. So I'm tying it at the bottom and I'm tying it at the top. And when I say tie, I'm just taking those pipe cleaners and crisscrossing them over, just like you would tie up a loaf of bread, where you just kind of twist it together. So there's no fancy secret to this. Again, see, you can just see that I'm pulling the mesh down and then winding it back up and tying it at the base and tying it at the top. And those ties will help your deco mesh not move to side, especially if you're going to be putting this outside or if you're going to make this into a hanging wreath, because at the end of this, you guys are going to be so wowed. This is probably one of my favorite projects I have ever done. I've been wanting to do one of those pumpkin wreaths, but our Dollar Tree has not got in any of the pumpkin wire wreath forms, and this whole time I've been hoping to find one. I keep thinking, what if I used the splatter screens to create kind of a setting pumpkin wreath? So that's how this is going to turn out. And again, you guys can modify this by taking the handles off and just hanging it from your door. But again, I'm just continuing to loop the mesh over on itself. The other thing that you might want to keep an eye out for, I just always grab rolls of mesh, but Dollar Tree has several different colors of orange. So luckily I had 3 of the same kind and only one was different. So here's how my pumpkin looks after I have all my mesh tied on. And then I didn't cut my ties. I left them on because I knew I wanted to drape some Dollar Tree ribbon down the front. This is just the polka dot ribbon, and I cut it about half the length of my pumpkin. You can always make it longer or shorter, but I am going to put a big bow at the top. Now I'm cutting a triangle upwards at the end of my ribbon. That's just a little extra special step that's going to give it that boutique finish. So you just cut that little triangle up, and then I'm taking some deco mesh roping. This step is totally optional and you're really not even going to see that much of it, but it does give a little bit of dimension. And if you always wondered what to do with this, here's a fun little way to use it, is just to add it into some of your wreaths or your florals. Again, just to give it a little bit of dimension, and it does look kind of funny right here like this, but we're going to make a big, beautiful bow. So I have a big bow video for you. You can also use your Easy Bow Maker if you have one, or if you know how to hand tie a bow. The Easy Bow Maker is a lifesaver for my fingers though. So I just popped a pipe cleaner in, and then I'm using the Dollar Tree plaid ribbon, and I'm going to make my bow 6 inches across from the center. So you just pop your ribbon in, you measure 6 inches on one side and 6 inches on the other. Honestly, this is the easiest bow I've ever made. I honestly think it's even easier than my Olivia bows, and so many of you all love my Olivia bow. I'll link that bow video down below. It's a Christmas video, but it will work for fall. And that's for if you guys don't have the bow maker. Now I'm also adding in this beautiful pumpkin ribbon. I did find this on Amazon, but Dollar Tree has been killing it this year with their ribbon choices. I did want to make this just a little bit extra special with this ribbon, so I popped that one in next. Again, 6 inches across on either side, and then take your scissors and cut upward to give it that boutique finish. Now this pretty pumpkin ribbon came from Michael's. Again, it's kind of that pretty specialty ribbon. I wanted to mix in this ribbon because it's going to match the Dollar Tree plaid ribbon back behind there, and you're just going to twist it to make sure your ribbon pieces are standing out really nice and pretty. And there's also a little an end piece on the bow maker that you can put your spool of ribbon on. I always get so excited when I'm making my bows, I forget to put my spool of ribbon on there. I know some of you guys even comment and tell me to use it, and I just honestly totally forget. Now I did splurge when the Mackenzie Childs barn sale happened, and I bought some of their gorgeous ribbon, and let me tell you, this ribbon is so beautiful and well made. It was definitely worth that extra splurge. So this one I'm just going 5 inches across on either side, and I chose it to do as the third piece of ribbon because I really want it to show off. And you guys know I've been crushing on Mackenzie Childs checks, and this is just so pretty. And if you guys can see on one side, it's lined with gold. Oh my goodness, this ribbon is so high quality, and it really makes a difference for sure. But you could also use buffalo check if that's what you have on hand. No worries at all. Okay, so now I'm just going to add in my pumpkin ribbon as the last little straw, and this one I made the smallest loop. It's only about 4 inches across on either side. And then once I have that done, I am just going to pop it off and pipe cleaner the whole thing together. Easy peasy. And then the best part is oh my goodness, you guys, my favorite part ever is fluffing the bows. Fluffing up your bow is really where you're going to have the magic happen. So you take your pipe cleaner, wrap it around the back first, and it's okay if you're going to smash it down a little bit here, but you want to get it really tightly on here, but not so tight that you break your pipe cleaner, because I've done that before too. Now see how I'm pulling the loops out on my bow and fluffing them and making them puffy? Don't forget to do that. Don't let your bow just sit there limp without any fluffing. It really needs some TLC after it's been through all of that. And if you use wired ribbon, that's going to make it stand up even better. Now I'm just going to take that pipe cleaner that was on the back of the bow, and I'm going to attach it to the top of my pumpkin, just the very top loop. And again, more fluffing. You guys know I am going to fluff until they're so puffy and they look really boutique, high-end, on a budget, of course. The next thing I want to do is add some of those Dollar Tree leaves. So they have those burlap leaves, and I'm just going to pop those in. I didn't even add hot glue because they just set really easily down into the deco mesh. So I added orange leaves, one on either side, and then I'm adding the brown leaves, one on either side. And again, all the leaves are from Dollar Tree. And then you guys know me, I was poking around, and I also decided to add in some pretty raffia just to give it that fall vibe. Dollar Tree carries raffia, so fun. And then of course I had to add some glam little leaves to either side, and here is the finished product. And oh my goodness, you guys, I am so over the moon in love with how this turned out. I think it looks so high end. I've seen these similar to these selling on Etsy for $100 or more, and we created this on such a small budget, and you guys definitely just use whatever you have on hand. It's kind of even how I dreamt up the idea. You guys know me, I really like to repurpose and reuse, and I'm trying to challenge myself to use everything I have in my craft stash, which I have a lot right now. So we're gonna have a lot of fun decorating for fall. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this cute little bridal gift sign and some of that Mackenzie Childs Hobby Lobby paper, and I'm going to cover it with the paper. I'm just going to trace on my marker and trace out the size of the sign, and it didn't exactly fit all the way down, but that's okay because I'm going to decoupage some pretty pumpkins to the front of it as well. So I'm just taking some Mod Podge and adding a good little layer of Mod Podge here, and then I'm going to take my paper and add my paper down. So this is so fun because I wanted to make a cute little welcome sign, and here I had to cut a piece to make it a little bit longer, and I'm Mod Podging again, and I did actually get a little bit too much glue, which happens especially with me. I like to get a little bit generous with my glue, and then once I have that down, then I can take and add another layer to the front, and that'll get it on there nice and good. And you guys can even file off the edges if you want once it's all the way dry. So you just take a nail file and make it smooth. Now I'm taking this welcome galvanized lettering sign and I'm going to add that to the front. I ended up taking it off and painting it gold just to kind of mix in with some of my gold touches that I have going on in my fall decor. And originally I thought I was going to use this Dollar Tree truck, so I did go ahead and cut that out. I tried it on one end and I thought it would have looked cute, but when I was looking at it, I wasn't for sure that that's the look that I wanted, and so I decided to go with the little pumpkins. And so I just used a dab of hot glue, and I had cut these pumpkins out of the Dollar Tree pumpkin little red truck ribbon, and then I'm just hot gluing those very carefully kind of underneath the lettering. It's going to give it kind of an accent piece, and this is definitely something that you would see at more of like a high-end decor store for only a couple of dollars. I think it came out so adorable, and it's going to mix in perfectly with some of my black and white checks and that darling little banner and a pumpkin we just made. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to create a pumpkin painting using a piece of poster board from Dollar Tree and one of these felt mats. I'm just taking that Dollar Tree marker and I'm going to mark out and trace out the pretty pumpkin. And oh my goodness, this is such a beautiful silhouette. Now I'm also taking this Dollar Tree wooden piece and I'm adding pumpkins to either side. And if you don't have the wooden piece and you're comfortable with freehanding that, that would be a super easy option as well. Now I'm going to begin to paint my pumpkin, and I have been really practicing on some acrylic painting skills. I took that acrylic painting 101 by Emily Henderson, and so I'm just really trying to get in there and give myself grace. So I'm adding layers of white paint and orange paint and this kind of brown paint, and these are just colors that I kind of mixed myself or some that I had left over. So you can go to Walmart and pick out some really beautiful fall harvest pumpkin colors, but I love the oranges and the browns, and then I always add in a white for my highlight color. So just have fun with it. You can tell that it's not perfect, and I also like to add layer after layer. I feel like that gives it a lot more dimension and depth, and if it gets too brown, you could add in more orange. As you guys can see right here in this clip, I had gotten a little bit too brown with it, so I moved on to the stem and gave myself a break from painting the pumpkin part. Sometimes that helps too if you get frustrated or feel like it's not working. Give yourself a break and move on to a different part of it. The other thing is I'm painting in this pretty green leaf and then adding that white accent piece to the outside of it. And here it is. I added another little leaf, and I think it's actually looking really adorable. Don't forget to add in those touches of white. They may look kind of funny when you're first doing it, but it's going to give it that really pretty accent that you're going to want. mat. Now here is this orange color. Again, I mixed this with some different acrylic paints to create this color. It's a bit odd, but I think it works, and it's going to kind of highlight either side of the pumpkin. So take a deep breath, have fun, and get your paint on. For the final step, I decided to use this Waverly Antique wax, and you find it at Walmart, and it's a wax that you're supposed to rub over your furniture pieces, and I decided to rub some of the wax on the outside to give it a frame. I thought that might make it look kind of rustic, and I ended up using about 2 coats of the wax. It does need to dry overnight, and here it is. I popped it into this fireplace mantle setting, and I am really loving this. I think it is so beautiful. So I used some of the Dollar Tree leaves, and then I put some of the velvet pumpkins on top of that, and then candlesticks on either side. I have a lot of you all ask me about the candlesticks, and honestly I found them at the thrift store, but they are really beautiful. So comment and let me know what you think about my painting. I can see so many flaws in it, and I need to go back in with some more orange. I just noticed that. But give yourself grace, have fun, because painting is muchly a journey. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take a Dollar Tree placemat, and I think I got this in the summer section, and then 2 packets of the Dollar Tree fall leaves, and that's going to cover my entire placemat. And I'm just hot gluing the leaves in a pattern. So I started out with the gold, and then the oranges, and then the yellows and the greens. I'm starting out also on the outside of my placemat, but if you don't have a placemat, you could also use one of the Dollar Tree chargers or plates. Really, the sky is the limit, but I want to create a beautiful kind of a fall sprawl, I guess, to put pretty like little dishes on top of, or a basket or whatnot. So just continue to go with your leaf pattern, alternating it. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect towards the end. I didn't have quite as many of the bolder colored leaves. I think some of them have more in the pack, so you might want to check. I believe there were 50 to a pack for the ones that I used, but they do have multiple ones available. And just continue to layer those leaves. And oh my goodness, I feel like this is just such a burst of fall goodness and happiness. Have fun with it. Use that hot glue gun and go for it. And here is how it's going to look once you're done. It's just a burst of fall goodness. And then I decided to take this scrolly gold bowl. Again, I found this at the thrift store, one of my favorite places to shop besides Dollar Tree. I added in some of these cute little Dollar Tree pumpkins, and then that's that pumpkin patch sign that I shared with you guys at DIY on Dollar Tree items as well. And just this, I think it looks so beautiful. I chose the gold because it was a little bit more neutral to set on top of this, and the way I would use it in a place setting would be to use one of the wooden chargers and then some pretty fall dishes. And oh my goodness, I've seen these kind of placemats at Pier 1 Imports for $25 at least, and really we did this for about $3. And this is a really nice thing to add to the centerpiece of a table or a little side table or whatnot. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to take this beautiful Dollar Tree calendar, and I am going to choose the October setting. Now this is one of the Psalms calendars. I'm going to use this copper, I believe it's an 8x10 picture frame, and I'm going to remove the backing. I want to get this 8x10 picture
texture part that originally came in the frame and use that to trace it out. So I traced right above where the lettering is. I'm going to use the lettering part, the psalm, but I'm going to use it underneath the picture, and I wanted to include the whole setting so it actually fit perfectly into this 8x10 picture frame. So once you have it cut out, you can just cut out the entire calendar and then trim out your saying. And the saying, of course, is optional, but it is a psalm. It's one of my favorite psalms from the Bible. So just go ahead and trim that out, and then you'll have that bottom piece, and then you'll have the top piece. And what I did was I just placed that bottom piece right into there. You also might want to tape it on the inside if you don't want it to move around, but I popped it back into the frame, and voila, I have this beautiful custom kind of high-end looking pretty picture for only about $2, you guys, and it just brought joy to my day and a smile to my face. So here is everything that we did in this video, and this is actually episode 16 or 17, I believe, in our DIY series, you guys. We have been doing so many I Love Fall videos, so definitely go and check out the rest of the I Love Fall videos. I'm going to link them in the description box for you guys, but I also want you guys to comment and let me know what was your favorite DIY in this video. I always love to hear your feedback because it lets me know what you guys want to try or what you would like to see more of. Let me know how I did on my painting. Again, I'm super critical of it, but I think it's fun, and I think with the little added pumpkins at the bottom, it's going to be a really pretty piece. So I'm either going to use this for my studio or my entryway table. All of the hangers and like this little thankful and blessed pumpkin had a leaf. You just want to remove all of that from the top of your pumpkin. The second step is painting your pumpkins with a base color paint. For me, I chose the Waverly white chalk paint, and I gave each one of my pumpkins a nice thick coat of chalk paint. For my third pumpkin, I decided to make it kind of an aqua color, so I'm using this Rust-Oleum spray paint. However, do not get the gloss spray paint like I did. It was very sticky, and I had to add a layer of Mod Podge to the outside of it. After my chalk painted base coats had dried, I went in with the top coat or the detailed coat of my pumpkin topiary. I chose orange with a little bit of mix of kind of some burnt yellows. So to give your painting a bit of a high-end look, you want to just add layers and layers. When you take a look at a pumpkin, it's usually not flat. It will have layers and highlights. So the best way to do that is just add different pretty burnt colors of oranges and browns and whites. And I also did paint the back of my signs white. That way, in case they're leaning up against a mirror, they'll look beautiful from both sides. Of course, that step is totally optional and something that you can skip if you're not going to have yours leaning up against a mirror. Now here is the fun part for me, going back in with a highlight. So I'm just using a flat white. I like to take and mix my colors on my brush together a little bit. So to really give it that blended look, for me, I actually don't wash my brush. I kind of just skip in between colors. So you can see I'll get some white on there and then a little bit of orange, and then I'll just keep mixing and mixing and mixing again to give it that really pretty just kind of hand painted look. That is just a little tip from me to you, and I hope you enjoy watching me paint this. Again, you guys really cannot mess this up because a pumpkin is never going to be perfect, and it's just going to have some pretty lines. You're just going to kind of move in a circular kind of curved motion as you paint those pretty highlight spots. Now, the next step for me was to take one of the Dollar Tree little round sponge brushes and to get some dabs of white paint on my sponge brush and sponge brush some polka dots onto my pretty pumpkin. I have seen these adorable pumpkin topiaries and hand painted kind of pumpkin signs all over Pinterest, and I think they are so adorable. However, they're about $50 to $70 for these beautiful hand painted ones. So after looking at several of them, I just got the inspiration to kind of make one of my own, and I love the whimsy of the polka dots. In fact, I had so much fun creating this. I decided that I'm going to make several more in kind of different styles, maybe one for Halloween and whatnot. But these Dollar Tree signs you can transform so easily into something really high end with just a bit of paint and creativity. And I really recommend it that you guys can not spend very much. So go to Walmart, pick out some pretty little apple barrel craft paints and go to town. So I just use my sponge brush and I sponge brush the little polka dots on and just kind of layer them here and there. And if you mess up, you guys can just take the sponge brush and kind of move it in a circular direction, and that will clean up your little circle lines. Once I was finished painting my circles, I went in with a darker brown paint and I just accented the pumpkin stems. Originally, I wasn't going to have the stems shown, but I decided it would look cuter and more pumpkin-y, if that is a word, to go ahead and go in with some darker brown paint, and you can accent those brown stems also with some white paint. Now, for the next part of this DIY, I'm going to use some of this Waverly antique wax, and I'm going to do a wax overlay on the top of my aqua pumpkin that had the words. And this was actually just a happy little accident. I did not plan on using this side of the sign, but I was testing out how the chalk wax would look over it, and it worked perfectly. So I just added a layer on and then brushed it off. And then I'm taking this permanent marker and I'm showing you guys where the lines of your pumpkin would be if you're going to add accent lines. So wherever those little bumps are, you can just add some pretty little accent lines to kind of give your pumpkin some dimension. And so I just went in with some brown and white paint and just added those really pretty little highlights. You're going to also want to change to a smaller brush to do your detail work. For the last smaller pumpkin, I decided to do green and orange stripes on this one. So I'm just using some of this pretty green paint. Again, these are a packet of watercolors I got from Arteza Paints, but I suggest that you honestly use acrylic paints. I'm just using what I have on hand. So I'm drawing the little green stripes in, and then I'm going to go back in and highlight this pumpkin with some orange stripes. That way I'm pulling in some of the green green that's going to be the base of the pumpkin, and then some of my pretty orange. Again, I'm so inspired to do more of these in all different kinds of colors, but take a deep breath and just have some fun. It does not have to be perfect. Again, really the more imperfections and highlights and layers of paint is what's going to give you that really boutique high-end finish. The other little detail I have to share with you is I used from some of the furniture polish markers from Dollar Tree. I shared these with you guys in one of my hauls, and they worked perfectly to go back over those Dollar Tree glittered letters. So this sign is one of the Dollar Tree signs with the glittered letters, and if you guys have done any crafts from Dollar Tree, you know those glittered letters can be a bit of a pain. And again, this is a happy little accident. I decided to keep the lettering and just overlay it with the furniture polish marker, and then I ended up even going back in with a little bit more fine detail with my paintbrush. But I'm always nervous to try to paint letters. However, those furniture markers worked really, really well. The final step to creating your pumpkin topiary is to hot glue your pumpkins together. You can tell I overlaid the pumpkins on each other so you could see the adorable stems. For the next DIY, I want to create a beautiful fall bow. So I'm going to start out with this easy bow maker, and I put one of the pipe cleaners in it. And then I'm going to take this Dollar Tree ribbon, and I'm going to measure about 4 to 5 inches across on either side of my bow maker and create one loop. And I found my easy bow maker on Amazon, but I found out later it's much cheaper on Deco Exchange. So you can probably just Google it and find where the cheapest one is. And I'm also going to dovetail my ends with my scissors. You're just going to cut a little triangle in. Now this ribbon is actually from Amazon. I love this. I'll put some in my store for you guys. I'll link my Amazon store down below if you want to check it out. But it's pumpkins and a buffalo check and just so fabulous. And again, I'm adding 5-inch loops on either side, and then I'm just going to dovetail those ends. Now if you don't have an easy bow maker, that is totally fine. I have a huge bow making video that I will link for you all down below. It's actually from Christmas, but all you have to do is change out your ribbons to make yourself a fall bow. For the next layer, I'm going to use this Dollar Tree. It's kind of like a burlap ribbon. And also just a quick little note, all of these ribbons are wired ribbon that helps your bow be really nice and fluffy and boutique fabulous. And now I did make a little bit of a smaller loop, about 4 inches on either side for this next loop. I'm gradually kind of getting a little bit smaller with my loops. And then to finish it out, I really wanted that pretty pumpkin ribbon to sparkle and shine. And so I'm just going to use this again, and don't forget to twist it if it does have a pretty layer that needs to show on the outside. And voila, you have a fabulous bow. And if you have problems with your hands, these bow makers are really great. I'm sure you guys know by now that I do have neuropathy in my hands and feet, and so sometimes it's a little bit much to try to wrangle with a bow. So this easy bow maker is such a great little cheat, and I get no money for saying this. I'm just giving you guys a little tip from me to you. Now, the other part to my bow is to really give it a good fluffing. That will really help make your bow fabulous. Here is the bow topped on top of our pumpkin topiary. I did add a little bit of Dollar Tree raffia to the top part of the bow and underneath. I just took my pipe cleaner and wrapped it around the top of my pumpkin topiary, and that held my bow on, and then I did hot glue the raffia onto either side. So I am absolutely over the moon and in love with how this turned out, and just think how many ways you all could customize this. I'm even seeing making one of these for my outdoor. Now I do have a covered porch, so it probably wouldn't last outside. They do have something called Never Wet that you guys can use to spray your items with if you want to put something outside. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this Martha Stewart Rose Gold spray paint. It's on clearance right now at Michael's for 60% off. And I'm going to take 2 of these Dollar Tree plastic buckets and just give them 2 layers of spray paint. You also can use any spray paint to customize this look, but this is going to be kind of a dupe on the Pottery Barn copper buckets that I'm seeing. Kirkland's is also putting out a copper bucket. I saw my friend Sarah Jade at Chic on the Cheap. She did a really great dupe on the little Kirkland's bucket. For mine, I decided just to go with the copper look, and then I wanted to accent the handles with some of that Dollar Tree jute twine. Now this is the jute twine that's on the wire, so you're just gonna wire it on to the side of your basket, and this part is a little bit tedious, I admit, because you have to wrap it around each handle. It's almost like I regretted it the minute I started it, but then I couldn't resist giving it that kind of fall feel. I think these buckets are amazing to pop pumpkins into, and blankets and little pillows. So fun and fabulous. And you could use your Cricut or some lettering and put Farm Fresh pumpkins across the front. Again, I chose just to leave mine plain because I did have other items in the display that were going to have a lot of wording and lettering. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to create some super adorable high-end scarf pumpkins. So I'm taking one of those Dollar Tree velvet pumpkins, and I cut the stem off, and then I'm just going to take these scissors and poke the little scarf into it. So I found the scarf at Dollar Tree as well, but just think, you all could use a scarf that you pick up from the thrift store, or maybe you have a scarf or an old flannel in your closet from last season that you're not going to wear this year, or maybe it's seen better days. This is such a fun way to upcycle and create some fun and fabulous decor. You could also use this pumpkin idea on the Dollar Tree carvable pumpkins. The next step to making my pumpkin look a little bit more high-end was to take some of my fun and fabulous rose gold sparkling spray paint and spray paint the tops of my stems with that Martha Stewart spray paint. Again, it's 60% off at Michael's right now. And then I cut the rest of the stem off because it's easier to hot glue it back into your pumpkin, and then just added some hot glue to the top of my pumpkin to pop it back in. I also created one of these with some buffalo check plaid fabric that I found at Hobby Lobby. Really, so much. The sky is the limit with these little cuties. You guys could really customize this to suit your decor. And here it is popped into this little fall display that I have in my studio. I know you guys are going to ask me too about the cute little pumpkin pillows. I found those on Amazon, and I do have them again linked in my Amazon store. The link is going to be in the description box of the YouTube video for you guys. So fun and fabulous, and look at how cute these little pumpkins look popped in to the copper bucket. Just so ready for fall. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take these cute little pumpkin crates and some of that Martha Stewart spray paint. Again, I'm just so crushing on this, and I'm going to paint them with the paint, and then once they had dried, I'm just going to take some of these Dollar Tree picks. I love the one with the little pumpkin and the berries, and then this little lamb's ear is from Walmart. It's about $2 for a bundle, I believe. So I'm adding some lamb's ear into the center, and then just some picks picks to either side of the little crate. I see these high-end displays at Kirkland's for so much money, and we can create this on such a tiny budget, and it's really going to give your fall something a little bit to speak of with some high-end decor that we did on next to nothing. And how do you guys love this copper? Oh my goodness, it's really probably one of my favorite accent colors for fall, especially this season. You're going to really see it everywhere. And I also love these little tiny pumpkin picks, and then this Bath and Body Works caramel pumpkin swirl smells so delicious and is giving me all the fall feels. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take these cute little pumpkins, and again, I'm going in with that Martha Stewart rose gold spray paint. It even had like a glitter effect. I gave my little pumpkins 2 coats of spray paint, and I spray painted the entire pumpkin, and then I'm using one of those little spray painted Dollar Tree crates. I added some fall leaves to the bottom, and then just some of those little Dollar Tree straw bales, which fit perfectly into the little crates. Just a little note there. And then I'm going to take this cute little mini pumpkin. You're going to probably see that again, hopefully this year at the Target dollar spot. And then I'm just using those little rose gold pumpkins to kind of layer in and around my pumpkin topiary, and this is mixing in with those copper buckets. It's such a nice accent piece, and you guys could also glitter the tops of those rose gold pumpkins if you like. So here is how it looks, the entire display coming together. And as always, I ask that you all comment and let me know what is your favorite DIY in this video, and which one will you be attempting to recreate. I think this pumpkin topiary is by far one of the most fun DIYs I've done so far this season, and I've done a lot. You guys are going to have to go back and check out the rest of my I Love Fall series playlist. I'm going to link it for you in the description box of this video so you can get totally inspired. I think we've already done 30 DIYs. The majority of them are from Dollar Tree, so I'd love to share with you guys how to make everything budget friendly and gorgeous as well. You don't have to spend a lot to have some fun and fabulous decor. And here are those cute little fall pillows. I use that Dollar Tree scarf and just some pumpkins to really create this cozy fall vibe. And you can add in some flameless flickering candles. Just a little note, I did show that candle over here at the base of this display in one of those clips, but I don't keep candles close to my floor. It was just mainly for this video, so just a little note for you guys on that. I use flameless flickering candles though, and that is a flameless fireplace. I just have the lights turned on. I just wanted to give you guys a note on that, just to so you know that I'm always really careful. And the flameless flickering candles, I will tell you, are also in my Amazon store. So fun and fabulous. Oh my goodness, all of these cozy vibes get me just so ready for fall, and I really am hoping to inspire you guys and get you ready for your fall decorating. It takes me really several months to completely decorate from fall head to toe because I'm going to do my whole house. So definitely stay tuned and don't forget to comment and subscribe. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to create these beautiful glam pumpkins using ceramic pumpkins from the Dollar Tree and these beautiful glam jewels. You're going to find these in the crafters square. They already have adhesive on the back, so all you have to do is run the adhesive jewel down the side of the pumpkin, trim it off, and voila, you have this beautiful, I feel like these are Cinderella pumpkins. They're just so glamorous and gorgeous. Now, I think you guys can use these on any colors or styles that suit your personal decor, and I skipped every other one and just ran them down the little grooves that were in the pumpkin. I'm also going in with my Deco paint pen kind of marker. I got this at Michael's, but they also carry the gold paint pens at Dollar Tree, and I decided to dazzle up the stem just a little bit with some gold accents. I just thought that kicked it up a notch, and I'm also running out of this paint pen, so I'm going to need to make a trip to Michael's very soon. But I'm just adding that gold stem, and then I'm running the little jewels down the sides of the pumpkins. Now, as I went along, I realized that I wanted to add jewels down every single groove. So the one on the right, the little kind of maroon pink pumpkin, is going to be one way that you guys could do it, but you can kick it up a notch and just add jewels down the entire thing, depending upon how many you have. And it did take, I believe, 2 to 3 strips per pumpkin. Now, again, you can skip the grooves, or you guys can just totally go all out and use jewels on every little groove. Now here's how my pumpkins look after I dazzled them up with all these beautiful jewels. Now I'm going in to make them just a little bit extra with this pretty little brooch. I get all of my brooch jewels off totallydazzled.com. I will leave a link for them down below. They're super inexpensive on their jewels. You could also make these with some memory jewelry from a loved one, or maybe you have a broken earring that was just too pretty to throw away in your crafting stash. The sky is the limit on these. Oh my goodness. Now tell me these don't remind you of a Cinderella dazzled up going to the ball. Just so fun and fabulous and glam. I feel like every decor can really use just a cute little touch of glam, maybe in your beauty space or whatnot. I found this tea kettle on the Mackenzie Child's website for $150, and I knew we could duplicate it using inexpensive supplies. So I'm taking this tea kettle that I found at the thrift store, some metallic gold spray paint, some Waverly white chalk paint, some Mackenzie Child's napkins, and I just spray painted the top of the teapot gold. I want the handle to be gold, and then the base I am going to paint white with my Waverly white chalk paint. Chalk paint works really well on slick surfaces. And a little tip, if you clean your surface with a bit of rubbing alcohol before you get started, that will help get any grease off of your project. I did go ahead and take my handles off to make sure I didn't get any white paint on my handles. The other thing I want to let you know, if you can't find a tea kettle super cheap at your thrift store, they have these tea kettles for $7 at Walmart. You can find them online or also hopefully in your stores, just to give you guys a little tip on this. Then I'm going to go in with my white chalk paint and chalk paint my lid. Now I'm taking this beautiful Mackenzie Child, it's the Flower Market print napkin, and you find their napkins on the Mackenzie Child's website. Dollar Tree also carries flower napkins. I found some beautiful rose patterns, all different kinds, so check their napkin section. You can also find inexpensive napkins at Walmart in the party section, or another place that carries beautiful napkins is TJ Maxx or Tuesday Morning. So really your choice of napkin is up to you. Customize this to suit your fancy. Now I'm going to Mod Podge the side of my tea kettle and then gently add the napkin on to the front of my tea kettle. A little tip here is to remove the backing. There's a white backing on every napkin. You'll want to remove that part, and that way your little napkin will lay a little bit flatter and not be so bunchy. That's definitely helped me. One of you guys gave me that tip, so thank you so much. So I'm also adding another layer of Mod Podge on top of my napkin, and this is just Dollar Tree Mod Podge. So this is such a fun and fabulous project. I have really wanted one of these tea kettles, but I have hesitated to spend $150 on a Flower Market tea kettle because the print is a little bit more springtime. So if you decorate for shabby chic or you just love the floral print, this is really a great option if you want to use this for decor purposes. Now I'm taking another section of the napkin that I had cut apart and I'm just Mod Podging it to the side of the tea kettle. If you look at the Mackenzie Child's original tea kettle, the napkin or the flowers kind of cascade down. Now the other option, if you don't have these napkins and you're a really amazing painter, you can always paint the roses or the flowers onto your tea kettle. That's an option too. I can paint flowers, but not as good as these, and I really wanted to have that kind of Mackenzie Childs look to it. Again, I love that Flower Market print, but I haven't bought anything in the Flower Market print, and really the prices are a little bit too steep for me, to be totally honest with you. So I knew if I could dupe it and show you guys how to do this, it might give you all a chance to try this pattern and see if you like it, and then if you wanted to later invest in an actual tea kettle, because their tea kettles work, and this one would just be for decor purposes only. The next step is I want to decoupage the napkin to the top part of the lid, and then I'm going to remove the little original hardware, which is cute gold, but I'm going to take it a step extra and add this pretty jeweled knob to the top. The Mackenzie Childs teapots have jeweled knobs at the top. And so I just thought that would be really cute. You could also use E6000 glue to make it stay on there a little bit easier. Now, of course, I'm not going to be taking this on and off. Again, this is just for decor purposes, but oh my goodness, I am so in love with how this Flower Market teapot turned out. I think it is so gorgeous, fabulous, on a budget. If you got the one from Walmart and you didn't find a $2 one at the thrift store, it would cost you about $7 to get that one, and then do the same craft. So really, again, very inexpensive way to try out this pattern, especially if you love kind of that girly glam shabby chic design. And I am just so crushing on this. So fun and fabulous on a budget. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I wanted to share with you guys how to take one of the cute little Dollar Tree sparkling sunflower clips and make it into a napkin ring. So I've seen these style of napkin rings at the more high-end decor stores, and they are so much more than $1. So all you have to do is take a pack of the Dollar Tree napkin rings. They come in a set of 6, and then remove the little original sunflower clip. You're going to want to hot glue around the sunflower, and you should probably even take it apart and just hot glue all the layers back together, which is kind of what I had to do, a little bit trial and error on. But then you're just going to add the hot dab of hot glue to your napkin ring, and then hold it on there until it gets nice and sturdy on there. You could also even add a little bit of E6000 glue, which is a permanent hold as well. And then I'm taking this beautiful jewel from totallydazzle.com. Now, of course, this is optional. I'll leave my jewel link down below because they're only about $1.15 each, and you get a whole pack of them. So they're a really great deal, and they're so sparkling and they look so high end. So I just hot glued the jewel into the center, and look at how high end and boutique gorgeous on a budget. So you can use these as a napkin ring, and I also just popped it into this super adorable little teacup. But if you guys can see, the Mackenzie Childs patterns has a lot of gold in it. So if you are decorating with shabby chic decor, you can add in touches of gold, and that's going to pull the fall decor into your home without going over the top with the oranges and all of the harvest colors. Maybe not that, those colors aren't for everybody or their decor, but see how you can pull that gold in and even some hints of orange and still really look very fall. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to create kind of a glamorous topiary. So I'm starting out with this Dollar Tree carvable pumpkin. These are foam pumpkins, and I'm just going to use my Waverly white chalk paint and chalk paint my pumpkin. Now, I did give it about 3 coats of chalk paint, and I let it dry about 45 minutes in between coats to make sure that it was really nice and covered. This is going to be a topiary. Again, I did one in one of my last videos and you guys absolutely loved it, but I wanted to give you a little bit of a twist on this and make it more of a glamorous topiary. Now, I'm also going to take 2 of the Dollar Tree ceramic pumpkins and chalk paint them as well. I want them to all be the same color. That way they kind of all match. And also, I just want to let you all know that the little ceramic pumpkins come with holes in the bottom of them already with the holes, so they're a really great way to make a topiary. And so I am going to go ahead and paint the top part of this white. I do end up going back and painting it gold, but I wasn't for sure where I was going with it, so I just painted the entire thing white. Now I'm taking this Mackenzie Childs napkin. I find them on the Mackenzie Childs website. They're the cocktail size napkins, and I'm just going to cut out the flowers on the napkin. The other thing you want to do is remove the white part of the napkin that's on the backing. That will help your napkin stick better to your pumpkin. So I'm just going to add a layer of Mod Podge that I got at Dollar Tree to my pumpkin, and then gently stick my little napkin on here. Now you can get a napkin from anywhere. Walmart carries napkins, Dollar Tree carries beautiful napkins, Tuesday Mornings has beautiful prints. If you want to make this exact one though, you'll probably have to order off the Mackenzie Childs website, but you guys can really get creative and customize this to suit your personal decor. So again, I'm just adding another layer of napkins and Mod Podge, and I do add a layer of Mod Podge over my napkin just to make sure that it's sealed and that it's really nice and stuck on here. And oh my goodness, I think this is beautiful. I have seen pumpkins that are hand painted with the flowers, and they are so much more expensive in the high-end decor stores. Now for the next part of this DIY, I'm going to take one of the ceramic pumpkins that I had painted white, and I'm just going to begin to run my marker. This is just a little gold paint marker. They sell these at Dollar Tree, and also I find mine at Michael's craft store. And I'm just going to trace lines down the little grooves and ridges of the pumpkins. Then I'm going to go around the pumpkin. I'm going to make this in a checkerboard pattern with the pink and white. So shout out to my girl, Deanne Mendoza. She paints some really beautiful Mackenzie Childs inspired goodies on my Facebook group page. So you guys are definitely going to have to join us over on my Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook group page. There are so many inspiring people over there posting so many fun things. But I had to give her a shout out because she does some really pretty pink and white shabby chic designs. So I'm just taking this pink acrylic craft paint, and it's in the pink blush, the apple barrel craft paint. You find that at Walmart. And I'm just going to paint my little squares. I'm using a smaller brush to do this. That way I have a little bit better control. You can also use a paint pen marker if you feel like that the painting part would be hard for you. Remember to give yourself grace. This does not have to be perfect. Also, it's just a $1 pumpkin, so if you're really nervous and afraid to try this, you can always, if you mess up, just paint over a solid color. I have had to do that before, so I want you guys to try it out and don't be afraid to try this craft. I did end up using 2 coats of the pink paint to get really great coverage. Now I'm going to do pink stripes for my top pumpkin, and I'm just freehanding this, and I'm going every other one with the pink paint. So I already have the white base down, and then I'm just painting the pink stripes down. And again, I did do 2 to 3 coats with the apple barrel pink craft paint. And now think about this, you all can customize this to suit your decor. So if you don't care for pink, that's totally fine. I know it's not quite a traditional fall color, but a lot of my ladies out there that love shabby chic, I wanted to just share this video with you guys because I always try to share as many styles as I can get out as the season progresses. So I thought this would inspire you. For everybody that loves pink, but if you don't love pink, go for purple or blue or gold or whatever style suits your fancy. Now I am going in with some gold paint, and I do get my gold paint from Arteza Craft Company. It is such a beautiful metallic gold. I really love it. I'm almost out of it, so I am going to have to order some more, but I'm taking an even smaller brush and I'm running it down the grooves of my lines. So this is another little tip when you're painting these checks or these stripes. stripes, if you take a paint pen marker and outline them, outline your stripes or checks with a paint marker or even just a fine tip paintbrush, that is going to clean up some of your work where maybe you felt like your lines were a little bit wobbly or not perfect. And I will tell you, I was so nervous to start trying to paint these checks and stripes, and I'll admit, my first round of DIYs on these, I look back on it, I'm like, oh my goodness, it wasn't as good. I feel like I've gotten a lot better, but I've practiced a lot. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. In the Mackenzie Childs creations, the ones that I have from them, you can see the artist paint lines in them, and they're not perfect as well. So just a little tip there to give you guys a little bit more confidence and grace. Now I'm taking this cute little basket that I found at the thrift store, and I'm popping some styrofoam into this. And if you want to create a topiary with these foam pumpkins, all you have to do is pop a little wooden dowel, popsicle stick, floral stem, anything that has some strength to it into the foam pumpkins, and then pop it into your styrofoam. I'm also adding a popsicle stick to the top of this, and then I did add some hot glue. It's just going to stabilize it to keep it kind of from wobbling around. These are not going to be outside, they're just going to be in my home. So I did add some hot glue to the base of my pumpkins and top that off. Now I'm sharing with you guys two different ideas for how to do these pumpkins, where you can add a floral arrangement where you add some pretty florals with these pretty leaves and different flowers. I did get the brown neutral leaves at Michael's, just a little tip there. So there are so many ways that you all can style a topiary. You can add the florals to the base, and here is how that is going to look if you want to do a beautiful floral arrangement. And then here is the other option where you remove the florals and just use your topiary as is. I kind of do like this topiary without the florals this time, just for me personally, because I want to really be able to see that beautiful floral pattern that I decoupaged onto the base of it. But again, whatever you're going for in your decor, you could actually make two of these and leave them one without the floral and then make a pretty floral arrangement with one. Or maybe you're framing out a mantle and you would want to make a floral for either side. Really, the sky is the limit. Have fun with it. Customize it to suit your personal fun home decor. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this Happy Harvest sign and remove the raffia bow at the top. I'm then going to take my painter's tape and run it down the front part of this sign and just mark off little lines. I want to make a glam gold checkerboard pattern with this and just kind of jazz it up a little bit. Now the sign is absolutely adorable and super cute, but this is just an option if you wanted to do something different and kind of customize it. Hobby Lobby carries so many signs with a buffalo check pattern, so I thought it would be fun to do something kind of just with the white and gold checks, again just to doll it up. So I'm taking this gold acrylic paint. I get my gold acrylic paint at Artisa. It's an online crafting company, and it's a really nice metallic color. So when you go to look for gold paints, I always think the metallic looks so pretty and glamorous. So I'm going in, I'm painting a gold check square and then a white check square, again just to kind of jazz it up a little bit. This pattern is so popular at Hobby Lobby right now, and they actually do more of the buffalo check, which is beautiful as well. To do that, you would just add another color to your checks. Super fun and fabulous, and this was just a quick and easy little craft. The other idea you could do is, instead of painting the check pattern, you could just go around the entire pumpkin and paint it gold if you wanted to glamorize it just a little bit, or you could go around it and paint it all white or pink or purple or whatever color suits your fancy. Have fun with it and customize it to suit your decor. Now that I have 2 coats of my checks painted, I'm going to go ahead and add this cute little jeweled bow. Again, I get all of my jewels at totallydazzled.com. I'll leave a link for you all down below. They sell packs of beautiful dazzling glam jewels for next to nothing. You guys are going to love it. I hot glued the little jewel to the front, and then I'm going in with one more coat of my white and gold checkerboard just to make sure it had a really good coverage. I ended up using 3 coats total, and I am so loving this. It looked so pretty once I was finished, and it just gave it a different look, dazzling it up and going in with my kind of gold glam setting here with the shabby chic flair and my little teapot. Oh my goodness, you guys, so fun and fabulous. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this little mini ceramic pumpkin. I painted it white. It was originally green, but I painted it white with some chalk paint. I added several coats of chalk paint, and now that the chalk paint is dry, I'm going in with a layer of Mod Podge. I want to make it again kind of a Cinderella pumpkin, but this time I want to just add loads of glitter. So this is one of the most fun things. I have been doing these pumpkins for years. Years and years and years ago, I had an Etsy shop and I painted pink pumpkins and I dazzled them up with glitter and jewels and ribbons. So just think about customizing it to suit your fancy and your decor. So now I'm taking some extra fine glitter, and I find this in the craft section at Walmart. It's an iridescent glitter, and after I had my Mod Podge on, which you guys could also use craft glue, would be totally fine. Elmer's craft glue would work just as well. I added a layer of glitter, and then I'm just going to clean up my paint job and add in that gold stem. So I'm just using some metallic gold craft paint to make my gold stem, and here is how it looks. I also used a jewel to glue to the top to give it a little bit more glam effect. These jewels, again, from totallydazzled.com. You guys, I am so in love with their jewels, and these little ceramic pumpkins I think look so good customized, especially to glamorize them and have them suit your decor. I see these pumpkins that are all glammed up in the high-end decor stores, and they are so expensive. So these little Dollar Tree pumpkins are a great little buy. They should be out at your stores by now, or they should be coming very soon. But have fun with it, and as always, I ask that you all let me know what was your favorite DIY in this video, and which one will you be recreating? Do you all decorate in a glamorous style for fall, or do you do more of a traditional style? Do you add some glam touches here and there? I do have a pink bathroom, so I'm definitely going to be popping some of these glamorous pumpkins into there, and maybe some on my beauty table as well. So let me know, how do you guys decorate for fall? I think it's so fun to hear what everybody does for fall, and just always give you guys some options, because I know not everybody decorates with traditional colors. So this is just a fun option. I hope you guys are totally inspired and that you're having a gorgeous, blessed day. I want to thank you all for being here. It is such a true blessing and an honor, and I just love y'all so much. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to make some super adorable fun coasters. I'm taking these coasters from the Dollar Tree and this 25-cent paper from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to trace out the size of the square of the coaster and then cut them out. And these are so fun to make. So Hobby Lobby has paper that's only $1 each, and there's so many fun things to choose from. Michael's also has really neat decorative paper. You can also order some online. So I'm taking a layer of Mod Podge and Mod Podging the paper onto the top of the coaster. Now, if you guys are going to be using this coaster for cold drinks that are going to sweat a lot, you may want to think about getting a dishwasher or waterproof safe Mod Podge. You can get it at Michael's or order it online, and that will help your Mod Podge kind of stay a little bit, less gunky. I just usually use these for my coffee in the morning. How adorable is this? Now, that cute little squirrel is from Dollar Tree last season, so look for some of their fun salt and pepper shakers. Now, the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to make a cute little Mackenzie child Child's inspired coaster. So again, I'm just using my Mod Podge, adding a good heavy duty layer of Mod Podge, cutting out my pretty little piece of paper, and then Mod Podging it on top of the coaster. The sky is the limit. You guys customize this to suit your decor style and your colors in your home. I am so crushing on the black and white with pops of oranges for the fall time. I think it's just going to be so perfect, and it's really a great accent. And just how adorable is this teacup and teapot? Again, those are from Mackenzie Child's website, so check that out if you guys want to add like a little bit of a Christmas wish list for your honey. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to make a beautiful fall wreath using these fall mums and feathers and sunflowers and wheat from the Dollar Tree. So I'm using this 14-inch grapevine wreath base. Now this is from Walmart. They're $4 at Walmart or your local craft stores. Are very inexpensive. And I'm just going to hot glue these little wheat stems to the base of this. I'm also using some of these little picks that I found at the thrift store. Dollar Tree will also begin to put these out, just these little mini pumpkins. And I'm also going ahead and hot gluing my sunflower and my little mum. So I'm kind of alternating colors as I go along. And now I'm going to share with you guys how to make this really beautiful bow. Okay, so I'm using my Easy Bow Maker and this pipe cleaner. I popped the pipe cleaner down in there, and then I'm using this Mackenzie Child's inspired ribbon. I do get that off of Amazon, but please feel free to use whatever fall ribbons you might have on hand or that you love. Now I'm going to measure 5 inches across on either side of my Easy Bow Maker. And if you don't have an Easy Bow Maker, that's okay. I'm going to link a big bow video down for you guys below where I share with you guys how to make the fabulous Olivia bow. And that takes no tools at all, and it's so super easy. But I did want to share with you guys just a different take on a bow. This one's super easy as well. So now I'm adding in some striped ribbon for just a little bit of dimension. Again, use whatever ribbon you have in your stash. I really need to go out and shop for fall ribbon. Now I'm measuring this 5 inches across as well. So you just take your ribbon, crisscross it on either side, and then you can dovetail your ends by just cutting a little triangle upwards. And that's going to give you that really nice little boutique finish. So the Easy Bow Maker is also really nice if you will have arthritis or problems in your hands. I do have neuropathy in my hands. They sometimes give me trouble. So sometimes this is just a really nice little easy option. It's fun just to try something new. I believe they're about $14 on Deco Exchange. If you guys want to look there, they also have them on Amazon. So I'm adding in a little bit of a burlap ribbon and then topping it off with just a little bit more of that check ribbon. Again, I'm going 5 inches across, and then as I get towards my last ribbon, I kind of make a little bit of a smaller loop there. Now, last but not least, I did top it off with just a little bit of burlap kind of mesh ribbon. I actually made this bow to go on another project from earlier this summer, but I love to repurpose and reuse my ribbon. So now I'm just attaching my big, beautiful bow to my wreath. Now I'm taking some of this Dollar Tree pumpkin ribbon that I had left over from last year. Hopefully they'll put some more pumpkin ribbon out in stores, and I popped that into the center because I wanted to pull in some of these fall colors. And you guys can tell I'm just making the most beautiful blooming fall wreath. I love to go over the top with my designs with loads of florals and ribbons and bows, but feel free to suit this to your fancy. So you could stop at any point. I think right here is a really beautiful stopping point. I'm adding some feathers and some goodies, and then you guys know me though, I do have to go over the top and a little bit bow crazy because I love big bows, and I cannot lie. I'm adding another bow to the top of my wreath that's identical to the one kind of over here on the bottom. So next, a Dollar Tree DIY, I'm taking one of those Dollar Tree velvet pumpkins. They had these last year, and oh my goodness, they're so gorgeous. Hopefully they'll have them this year. And I'm just using some of those Dollar Tree adhesive gems. They just stick stick directly onto your pumpkin, and voila, you guys have an ultra fabulous pumpkin. The other thing I decided to do was cut some of my specialty ribbon into strips and really make this pumpkin pop. So the check ribbon was really pretty, but I felt like I needed to pull it in somehow with a pumpkin. So I'm just running it with some hot glue down this pumpkin. I've seen some very high-end designers creating pumpkins like this year. So this is a trend, and this is a thing right now. The black and white check is so trendy, and I feel like that the Harlequin pattern and the Mackenzie Childs checkerboard pattern is a little bit of a different take on the buffalo check. Now, if you already have buffalo check in your stash, I will be sharing with you guys some buffalo check plaid fall wreaths and floral designs, because I do love buffalo check as well. So you guys could easily use this with buffalo check. And hey, think about this. If you love shabby chic or different kinds of decor, use those ribbons. Think outside the box and use what you have and what you guys love to your personal taste. This is what I am loving. Check this out. Oh my goodness. I am so crushing on this. I've seen some really high-end designers creating florals similar to this, and oh my goodness. I will tell you, somebody that is doing a lot of really beautiful wreaths. If you want to buy a wreath, they're very high end and beautiful, is my girl at Bam Wreaths. Oh my goodness, she creates the most fantastic designs. I follow her over on Instagram, but anyway, that's for another story. She is a doll and a true treasure. But here we go. Here is how this wreath turned out, and I am in love with this. Now check out, we did this topiary that's in the center of my table the other day. So I do have a video on the topiary, and I have an upcoming video for you guys on how to create those candlesticks, as well as some super amazing DIYs. Anyway, comment, let me know what you guys think about this wreath. I go over the top, but again, you guys do this design how you suit your style. I think it matches in perfectly with my personal decor. I am just loving it. Mostly all Dollar Tree supplies. You guys can totally do this on a budget. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this little Hello Fall stand, and I'm going to Mod Podge this pretty paper onto the pumpkin part of the stand. I lost the footage on that, so hopefully you guys understand what happened there. I just created this cute little buffalo check plaid pumpkin with some Mod Podge, super easy. Now I'm going to hot glue this to the center of this Dollar Tree bridal sign. Okay, Dollar Tree has put out this bridal sign with this buffalo check plaid border. Go out and buy it if you guys see it. It is amazing. We're going to do a ton of DIYs with this one. And then I'm just going to use these little welcome letters. Again, they are putting out some of their silver letters. So go ahead and grab some of those if you see them. They come in a 3-pack. And then I'm making this super easy bow. You just hot glue the little ribbons on each end. I'm going to layer it with the Dollar Tree burlap ribbon and buffalo check plaid ribbon. And then I'm just going to tie it off with a pipe cleaner. I'm then going to hot glue it to the top of my pretty little sign here. I decided to go a little bit extra and add some leaves. I almost wanted to create like a little table topper that had some elements of fall, almost like an alternative to a wreath, kind of, or maybe just a floral frame decor. I guess that makes sense. But anyway, have fun with this. Use some of your extra little sprouted goodies you might have around. Here is how it turned out. I popped it into a little galvanized tray. Now, I will tell you that these bridal signs do not sit up very well. So if you plan on displaying them, I am going to be displaying mine on an easel. That way it doesn't topple back and forth, or you could pop a pumpkin that's heavier back behind it. But I think it's so adorable, fun, and fabulous for fall. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this Pumpkin Kisses and Harvest Wishes sign. I'm going to pop the little raffia bow off, and Michael's had ribbon on sale that was 99 cents. So this was actually $1. I grabbed some in this little buffalo check plaid pattern, and I'm just tying a very easy shoelace bow. So a shoelace bow is just a bow like you would tie your shoelaces. I'm popping it on with a dab of hot glue. Now think about this. When you look at a fall sign, you can easily change it and customize it to suit your decor just by adding a cute little customized ribbon. Sometimes you don't have to repaint the sign or go over the top doing crazy things, although I do plenty of crazy things with my signs. But a simple little bow makes such a difference and such an impact. And how cute is this? And it just gives it that little bit more kind of boutique high-end look. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this super cute little vase and spray paint it with some gold metallic spray paint. Then I'm going to take some of these Dollar Tree Harvest picks, and these are the sparkling picks, and I'm just going to trim them off to where I have several of the stems. This DIY is so easy, but it's very glam and kind of fabulous and sparkling. If you guys want something that you can pop in easily, these picks are really, really nice, and they seem a little bit sparkling and loud, except for when you group them together with an accented gold vase. I think they look really classy and beautiful, and a little bit of sparkle and shine is really nice popped in even to the most farmhouse of home decor for fall, because it just gives it kind of that fun little pop. So here's how I displayed that, and you can kind of see that popped into some fall decor. The sparkling picks lose that bit of brazenness with their sparkliness, but I love a lot of sparkle and shine, so you guys totally go for it and have fun with it. So as always, I ask that you all comment and let me know, what is your favorite DIY in this video, and what will you be replicating or DIYing for your fall decor? I'm hoping that I gave you guys some really fun and fabulous ideas, and you can take these ideas and change the ribbons out or the colors and suit them to your home decor. So I'm just so thankful to have you guys here. I love to hear what you're up to, how you're decorating for the next season. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I want to create this super cute little mini village with these two little Dollar Tree houses, this picture frame, some craft paper, and I'm just going to take these little mesh tubing Dollar Tree lights and I'm going to pop them inside the house. Now the battery pack does not fit all the way, but we're going to hide that with some leaves when we're finished. So I'm also going to do that to the other little house. You can really use any fairy lights, but my friend April sent me these darling little lights, so I thought this would be the perfect project. She also sent me these cute little Dollar Tree wooden pumpkins. I'm just going to hot glue those to the front of the house here to make it just appear that much more fall. And then I think even for Halloween, I may change the lights out and do something maybe with some purples. I'm also adding some cute little wooden pumpkins to this little house, and I just love little villages. We always had a Christmas village for the kiddos during Christmas time, and I thought it was so fun to do a little kind of a fall Halloween village. So I'm just taking this 8x10 frame and I'm cutting out the size of this craft paper. I'm using this kind of cute little diamond pattern or harlequin pattern or check pattern, whatever you guys want to call it. It's kind of like Mackenzie Childs inspired, which I absolutely love. I've been doing so many DIYs to inspire you guys. Anyway, I'm popping that craft paper into the little picture frame because I want to give my mini village kind of a floor or a little place to kind of contain everything, because I am out of straw bale, so I don't want it to make a huge mess. Now I'm adding some mini pumpkins over here, and then I decided I wanted to make some trees, so I'm taking these little Dollar Tree wooden pieces and some of this orange ting, and I just took my scissors and I poked a hole in the center of the wooden piece, and then I'm popping some little wooden ting in here. I thought that would be so cute to make some kind of little fall Halloween trees. You could also just use leaves, and I think this would be a fun project to have your kiddos and grandkids help you with. Now definitely you do the scissors part if you're having little ones help you, but I think they would think these little houses are so magical. And the little pumpkins, actually you don't even have to hot glue them. They have little stickers on the back, so you could definitely just stick them on or be the one to supervise and do the hot glue if you need that. Anyway, I did make 3 of these little trees, and then I'm popping the little straw bale in between the houses, and then I just added some cute little pumpkins to the top, and there's those leaves I'm using to hide the battery pack, and voila, here it is in my entryway table. So fun and fabulous, and you're never too old for a good old-fashioned little light up village, just to kind of bring the romance of the holidays into your home. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to create this super adorable wire witch hat. So I'm just taking a roll of Dollar Tree 21-inch mesh, and I'm going to take a pipe cleaner and pipe cleaner it to the top of this witch hat wreath form. Again, one of my wonderful subscribers, April, sent this to me. Thank you so much. I've never found one of these before, so it was such a delight to find one and use one. And this actually is really simple. You just take the mesh and you wrap it around the entire wreath form. Now you do want to pull it somewhat tight as you go and wrap it on top of itself. So you kind of wrap it and make sure that you're covering the entire wire part. You can also do these wreaths with the smaller little witch hat that they sell at Dollar Tree. You just remove the tinsel and you apply this same method. Now I'm going to wrap this entire thing all the way down to the base with the black mesh, and it did take almost an entire roll of that large mesh. Once I have that finished, I am going to take a pipe cleaner and just tie it off and then twist it on here really good, and then I'm just going to cut that piece off. Now I'm going to take a fresh roll of the Dollar Tree deco mesh, and again this is 21-inch mesh, and you guys can also find this at the craft store. You can't find this at Dollar Tree. I'm also taking some pipe cleaners, and I'm just going to pipe cleaner several pipe cleaners to the top part of the wreath form and also the bottom. And you can see I'm kind of staggering them so they're not directly on top of each other. The way that we're going to do this wreath is, I believe it's called the poof method, which I've actually never tried the poof method before. At least I haven't in a really long time. If I have, I do not remember. So I'm just going to take and I'm going to pull out about 6 inches on either side of a poof. So about 10 to 12 inches per poof. I hope that makes sense. But you can see they're making these poofs. So you're going to pull out about 10 to 12 inches in length on the mesh and then push it together and poof it. And then you're going to take and pipe cleaner that on. And it's going to look like these aren't very poofy, but what you'll want to do once you're finished is pull those loops out, and that's going to make it a lot poofier. So I'm just going to continue to pull my mesh out, gather it, and then pipe cleaner it on. So I'm going to do that on the bottom, and then I'm going to move to the top and then back to the bottom and back to the top. So you want to stagger it. The poofs, you want one on the bottom, then you want the next one on the top, then you want the next one on the bottom, and then you want the next one on the top. So I hope that makes sense. And I did end up using just one roll of the 21-inch Dollar Tree mesh. So I was super excited to find this mesh. But again, if you guys can't find it, no big deal. Walmart selling mesh, all the craft stores. You can even go on Hobby Lobby online. You could also order from Amazon online. So trust me, you can find mesh, I promise. But go ahead and take the pipe cleaners and continue to add your poofs until you get all the way down to the other end of the wreath form. And again, it is going to look kind of poofy and messy, but you can play with your poofs once you get done. You just do want to try to make sure that they're about the same size. And I could have measured these, but I decided just to eyeball them, and I think it was working just fine. And then once I got to the very end, again, just pipe cleaner at the end and trim that last piece off. Now for the next DIY, I'm going to use my Easy Bow Maker, and I'm going to pop a pipe cleaner down into the Easy Bow Maker, and then I'm going to start out with this pretty Harlequin ribbon. Now I did find this ribbon actually on Amazon, and it came in a big roll. I believe it was 25 foot, so that was quite a good deal. The ribbon was not the best of quality, but it works for this type of project. Now the rest of the ribbon I'm going to use is Dollar Tree ribbon, and I'm telling you guys, they come out with the cutest Halloween ribbon. So definitely, if you pop into your local Dollar Tree, grab some, or again, you guys can find ribbon online fairly easily. I am dovetailing my ends. Oh, and the other part, I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention, is you need to make this about 7 inches on either side if you're using your Easy Bow Maker. Now, if you don't have one of these, no big deal. I have a huge bow video I'll link down for you guys below. You can use the Olivia bow method. You do just want to make sure that you make super huge loops, because this type of wreath will swallow a bow. So because I made my poofs about 6 inches long, I want to make my ribbons about 7 inches on on either side of the bow. So I hope that makes sense. But it is a very, very large bow. I'm adding several different Dollar Tree ribbons, and I just kept all of the ribbons the same size pretty much on this one. I used that cute little skull ribbon with the happy pumpkins, and then some more harlequin ribbon, and just dovetailing my ends. And then I also used some of that orange and white Halloween ribbon. Now once I have it all the way done, I'm just going to pull it off and take a pipe cleaner and twist it together, or you can just find a pipe cleaner that's down on your wreath and twist it on that way. Now I did do that, but I felt like my bow was a little bit floppy, so I suggest to pipe cleaner your bow together and then you can twist it into your wreath. I'm going to make 4 of these bows, and I know that seems obnoxious and very bow-licious, but you guys know me, I love to go super over the top. So here is the second bow, and I'm pretty sure it's just as big as the first bow, but you guys know me, I love to do a super over the top wreath. And this wreath, because of all of the bows, I feel like it came out looking really high end, like something you would buy in a specialty boutique or an Etsy shop for definitely, you know, quite a bit more than what you used to make it with. So you just need several rows of ribbon. I suggest 2 rolls of ribbon for all of the bows. And then once I had all of my bows put on there, I decided to use these cute little witch legs, and then one of those little Dollar Tree witch hats, and then some of those little Dollar Tree ornaments, and I just hot glued those in. And then I had the remnant of this sign. This is a 3-piece sign from Dollar Tree, and I'm just hot gluing a pipe cleaner to the back, and then I usually just take a piece of scrap ribbon and put that over it, and then use the pipe cleaner to add that on to my little witch hat wreath. And oh my goodness, you guys, how stinking cute did this turn out? The witch is in. I think that's so adorable. Now, of course, it's a good witch, you guys. I promise I do cute and fun Halloween decor, but check this out with all these bows. Oh my goodness. So make sure you fluff up your bows. I also did add a cute little bow to the top and some more of those ornaments. So comment and let me know what you guys think about this. I went really crazy and it got bam, for sure big. You guys could always do this a little bit smaller or customize it and do a scarecrow wreath or whatever suits your fancy, but I thought this would be so fun and fabulous. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this super adorable Market Fresh calendar and this little square pumpkin spice sign from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to find the part of the calendar that has the pumpkin patch on here. And I just want to give a shout out to everybody that sent me a calendar. Thank you, sweet friends. I really, really appreciate it. We're going to do so many fun DIYs with this calendar. So back to the DIY, I'm going to take some Mod Podge and I'm going to add a generous layer of Mod Podge to the entire back part of this sign, and you could even use the other side of it if you wanted to, because it's still pretty cute on the other side so far if you just go for this first step. So I'm just going to Mod Podge the little pumpkin patch print out here, or calendar. You guys could also print out a really cute little pumpkin patch print out. Just go to your Google, search for pumpkin patch sign, clip art, or free printable. That's how I usually find mine. And then I'm going to take this cute little Dollar Tree bow, and I took the Dollar Tree bow and I actually cut the little tip parts off. That way I just have the little bow part. And what I want to do is take some of this cute little pitberry and add some pitberry and the bow to the top. Now, of course, this step is totally optional. You guys know me, I love to go a little bit over the top, but I just thought it'd be super adorable. And then I decided to hot glue this to the top. Now, the width of this sign was not very big, and so I did end up needing to make some modifications because the bow got a little bit heavy. So just a little side note here, you may want to do something a bit smaller, but you guys know me, if you're new, I love big bows, and I cannot lie, you guys, I love bows. I'm a bow crazy girl. So anyway, I'm taking that pitberry and I'm just kind of arranging it, and then I decided to add this cute little piece of Mackenzie Child's ribbon just to kind of give it a little bit of a hint in the center part. And then I'm taking this foam pumpkin and I'm just going to cut the foam pumpkin in half and hot glue it underneath the bow. Now you could still see that ribbon on top. And then I am taking this pumpkin patch sign from Dollar Tree on the back, and I'm just going to hot glue it to the back of this sign. I did pick up several of these, and then I've had friends send me these signs, so I have extra ones, and I wanted to reinforce this sign and also make it a little bit more high end by making the sign look like it has kind of a shadow of a pumpkin on the back. So that's my reasoning behind that. Now this would make a super adorable wall hanger, or you guys could just take a little easel. You can get them at Walmart or Dollar Tree and pop it onto an easel. You guys kind of see how I have done here at the base of this. How stinking cute is this? It looks so high end, fabulous, and we did it on a teeny tiny budget. And you guys really customize this to suit your fancy and use whatever beautiful clip art or calendars that you guys have around. It doesn't necessarily have to be this one. They have a ton of beautiful calendars out at Dollar Tree. I've shared with you guys some of the Bible verse ones and other DIYs and flowers and all kinds of goodies. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to make a deco mesh pumpkin fall decor craft, and we are going to use a cooling rack from Dollar Tree. I'm also going to use about 10 to 15 pipe cleaners, and I just cut those in half. And I'm going to take the pipe cleaner and begin at the corner of the cooling rack. Now I'm sharing with this because I did share with you guys a splatter screen pumpkin, and apparently Dollar Tree is sold out of splatter screens everywhere. So I really wanted to give you guys an alternative in case you cannot find that splatter screen or the pumpkin wreath form. You can make a pumpkin with a cooling rack. Now it's going to be a little bit more of a squared off pumpkin, but that's okay. Pumpkins aren't perfect, and they can really be any kind of cute little shape that we want them, right guys? So I'm just going to take the deco mesh and I'm going to just pipe cleaner it on to the end of the cooling rack. And this is just the Dollar Tree deco mesh. It's about 6 inches, I believe, and you're just going to twist tie your little deco mesh on. You could also use zip ties, and I like to double it up. So as you guys can tell, I'm pulling the deco mesh down, I'm tying it on, and then I'm pulling it over twice. That way it gets really nice, good coverage, because you really don't want to see the cooling rack in between the little rungs there. So I hope that makes sense. But you guys, once you get to this step and it's pretty securely on the ends, you can kind of not use the pipe cleaner on every single rung. So once I got, as you guys can see, towards the center part, I just wrapped it and wrapped it and wrapped it. And I did use 5 rolls of deco mesh for this project, and it was Dollar Tree deco mesh. Now if you had the thicker deco mesh like from the craft store, I don't think you guys would have to use 5 rolls, maybe 2 rolls of like the 21-inch. You also could use a floral wire if you don't have pipe cleaners. So just have fun with it, get creative. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just covering this whole cooling rack with deco mesh. Now I did go with an extra piece around the corner to try to give it a little bit more of a rounded shape. So I took that extra piece and I went around the corner, pipe cleanered it on, and then went back around the corner again to try to give it a little bit more shape, and so it doesn't look quite so squared off on the edge. I hope that makes sense. And I compared it to the one that we already did, and I feel like it was pretty close. So anyway, I'm just adding some more pipe cleaners on and then continuing on with the exact same process, just pipe cleanering the mesh to the cooling rack, wrapping it around several times, and then adding another pipe cleaner. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to make a super adorable Dollar Tree bow. So I'm using my Easy Bow Maker and I'm just popping a piece of pipe cleaner down first. And then I'm taking this really cute little candy corn boo ribbon and I'm going to measure my bow 6 inches across. And don't worry, again, if you don't have a bow maker, I'll leave a big bow video down below for you guys in the description box linked. It's a Christmas bow video, but it shares all my easy bows that you can make without a tool. So I'm also going to dovetail the ends of my ribbon. You're just going to cut a triangle upward and that's going to give you a really boutique, pretty little ribbon. Now this bow maker is amazing. It's definitely my favorite. It's so easy. It saves my fingers from pitching and twisting and all of that good stuff. So the next ribbon I'm going to add is this cute little Happy Halloween. I'm staggering my colors with the black ribbon and then the orange ribbon. And so think about that when you put your bows together, is to try to stagger your colors. And also because the pumpkin is orange, I wanted to put a black ribbon on the base, so hopefully that will pop out. And again, I'm just going 6 inches on either side. I also decided to add in this really cute little witch hat ribbon from Dollar Tree. Again, all of this ribbon is from Dollar Tree. I think I do throw one ribbon in that's not from Dollar Tree, but gosh, you guys, Dollar Tree has some super adorable little Halloween ribbon. So definitely keep your eye out for it. My stores are just putting it out now. And I do have to drive to several different stores to try to find all the goodies that I need for all of my crafts for you guys. Oh, here's that extra ribbon that wasn't from Dollar Tree. Now this is the Mackenzie Childs ribbon that I got at the barn sale. It's really pretty with the checks, but you guys could also just use some buffalo check plaid ribbon, which Dollar Tree put out. Again, dovetail those ends and keep adding your fun bows. You guys know me, I love to go over the top with bows. So we're going to make a cute little big bow here. And then I decided to add some more of that cute little black ribbon to the very last rung of it. Once I have my bow all ready to go, I just took a pipe cleaner and added a pipe cleaner and twist tied it together and then left the ends of the pipe cleaner sticking out on the back because I want to be able to attach that to my pumpkin. I also thought it would be super adorable to make this kind of more of a fall Halloween pumpkin, and since I already did the just strictly fall pumpkin, so I'm adding these cute little witch legs. These also came from Dollar Tree and I just tied them on with the original ribbon after I popped the other two parts of the sign off. Now I'm taking some of this pretty Dollar Tree sparkling smaller ribbon. This comes in the Halloween section is where I found mine, and I'm just going to make a cute little loopy bow here. Super easy. You just take the bow, loop it over on itself, and then make another loop. And then the next thing I wanted to add was some of that Dollar Tree mesh tubing. If you guys always wonder what to do with that, I found that it's really fun to kind of add on either side of my bows. It just gives it kind of some dimension. So I'm just taking it and kind of just making loops, and you guys can tell I kind of got everything a little bit all tangled up, but sometimes I get so excited when I'm crafting, I don't realize the mess that I'm making. Comment and let me know if you guys are huge mess makers. One day I'm gonna have to share with you guys my floor underneath, what it looks like after I craft. You would probably just be appalled. It is such a disaster. I make the hugest mess. So anyway, I'm just taking a pipe cleaner and I'm pipe cleaning the little kind of loops on. Of course, this part is optional, but again, I just wanted to give it a little bit of kind of fun dimension. And let me know what you guys are thinking. Is it looking like a pumpkin yet? Now, I did decide to add a little finishing touch to the top. This was the other part of that sign that I got from Dollar Tree that I took apart. I just added a dab of hot glue, popped it into the top, and I thought that was a cute little thing. And then I'm taking some of this purple, it's just little fairy lights that come in mesh tubing, and I'm going to add them to the back. And here is the finished project. Oh my goodness, I am so in love with this. I am so excited to go ahead and also be doing some of these fun Halloween crafts. I usually focus so much on fall, I forget to make some of my really pretty Halloween crafts, and I come up a little bit empty-handed once it transitions from fall to Halloween, because I do go over the top and decorate for both holidays. And check this out. What do you guys think? I think this looks pretty good. I mean, the pumpkin shape is a little bit squared off, but if you guys can't find those splatter screens, who knew Dollar Tree was going to sell out of splatter screens? We're going to have to keep a mental note in the springtime when they finally get them back in stock to gather those up for our fall crafts. But anyway, you guys comment and let me know what you guys think about this cute little pumpkin. So fun and fabulous. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you guys a really simple DIY. I'm just going to take this Dollar Tree carvable pumpkin and I'm going to remove the top, and then I poked a little bit more of a hole in it, and then I found this really cute little leopard cheetah print scarf at Dollar Tree. Oh my goodness, I was so excited to find this, you guys. And I'm just adding a dab of hot glue and then popping the scarf into the top of this. Now think about this. You guys can customize this DIY and use any fabric that you have at home. So maybe you have burlap or lace or a pretty shabby chic fabric or any fabric that you have. I really thought it was really cute that Hobby Lobby put out some little leopard pumpkins, but I didn't really want to splurge on them because I really wasn't for sure if I would like them in with my decor, and it's just a little while even for me, but I think it's so cute. I ended up loving it and may do a couple more, but I'm just taking the scarf and wrapping it around and poking it into the hole, and then I hot glued at the very end, and then I'm just adding a cute little Dollar Tree wooden piece stem. You could also go out to your yard and add a stick from your yard, that would work, or you could paint the little top to the Dollar Tree pumpkin stem and put it back on there. I did want to make it look a little bit more high end, and I thought this would be really cute instead of the styrofoam one. And then I'm just adding the hot gluing some cute little leaves to the top. And this to me looks just as good as the Hobby Lobby leopard ones. It's all shiny and fabulous, and it really looks cute popped into my fall decor. Now here it is popped into the little space beneath my mantle. You guys have seen that. I did a huge floral. How adorable is this? I also tried popping it into my little basket of pumpkins, and I thought it looked really, really cute. Okay, so comment and let me know, are you guys going to take a walk on the wild side and add some leopard to your fall and Halloween decor? I was really surprised by how cute I thought it looked and just how fun and whimsical it came out. So as always, I ask that you guys comment and let me know what was your favorite DIY in this video and which one will you be trying to recreate. I also have a fun new giveaway to announce. I'm going to be giving away a $50 gift card to burlapfabric.com. They have a bunch of really fun goodies that I love to share with you guys, and they want to spoil you, so I'll leave the rest of the details for this giveaway down below for you guys. The other thing I have to pop in here is a clip of my puppy Bear. You guys have been loving little Bingy Bear here. Oh my goodness, this is his Lammy, and he goes crazy for this Lammy. He usually likes to wrestle the Lammy and all of that good stuff. So thank you guys for being here, and we love y'all so much. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to take these super cute little Dollar Tree burlap leaves and this lace curtain that I had from the thrift store, and I'm just going to gently lay it over the lace leaves, and then with this 2X Rust-Oleum spray paint, probably my favorite spray paint out there, I'm just going to give it a light dusting over the leaves. It really doesn't take a whole lot of spray paint, but I do give it a full coverage in one spray. And then once you have that done, you guys can just go ahead and pull that little curtain right off of there, or lace panel channel or whatever you choose to use, and it is so magical. Oh my goodness, check this out. You guys have to try this. So super easy and such a fun way to make a custom craft, and it really dresses up these inexpensive little Dollar Tree leaves. So the Dollar Tree leaves come, I believe, 5 to 6 to a pack, and I decided that the little burlap color was so cute. I wanted to try this wine color. I thought it would be absolutely gorgeous. So again, I just laid the leaves down and then took the lace and kind of did an overlay on top of it, and I knew that the white was really going to pop against this wine color. You just gently pull it straight off after you're finished, and voila, check these out. So super duper fabulous and an excellent way again to dress up those leaves. And I'm going to share with you guys this cute little tobacco basket kind of wreath that I'm going to use these leaves in. But look at how beautiful this makes it. So you can just mix in some really pretty regular Dollar Tree leaves with some of these customized leaves, and it's going to give any arrangement that you're working on more of a high-end customized look, and it kind of gives it that romantic flair as well. So for only a couple of dollars in spray paint, you have a magical new little goodie. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take 5 rolls of Dollar Tree Deco mesh, some of this burlap fabric, and several rolls of a Dollar Tree ribbon, this little cute sign that I'm going to take apart, and then this tinsel Dollar Tree witch hat and some pipe cleaners. And I'm going to use my scissors to remove the tinsel from the hat. I want to make a scarecrow hat out of this little witch hat wreath. And once you have all of the tinsel removed, here is what it's going to look like. The next step is to tie a pipe cleaner to the top of your witch hat and just secure your piece of burlap fabric or whatever color you really want to make your little scarecrow hat. You could also use deco mesh if you wanted to, but I just took my fabric and wrapped it around, and I did wrap it on top of each loop. So you just kind of wrap it and then wrap it and wrap it some more, and that way it will cover up the little black part because you don't want that part to show through. So you could even double your ribbon, and that would work as well. Now I'm just going to take a pipe cleaner, and I pipe cleanered the bottom to hold that piece of fabric in place. No gluing required. And then I'm going to take several pipe cleaners. I probably used about 20 on this project, or maybe have 30 on hand just to be safe. If you get a bag at Dollar Tree, they come 45 to a pack. And then I'm going to measure out 8 inches for my deco mesh, and what I do with my pipe cleaners is I just cut them in half. Super easy. That's going to help them go just a little bit further. So I'm taking 3 rolls of my deco mesh, and I'm laying them on top of each other, and I'm measuring out to about 8 inches, and then I'm just going to trim that off. And what we're going to do is make deco mesh bundles. The next thing I want to share with you guys is I'm going to make 9-inch trims on my ribbon. So I'm going to take several different ribbon. I think I ended up using 2 rolls of the larger ribbon, and then 2 rolls of the smaller ribbon, and then some of the little mesh tubing. Now I'm sharing with you guys some different ribbon ideas. The ones that I used for this wreath specifically were the chevron and the plaid ribbon. I thought that I was going to use different and more, but I ended up only using the chevron and the plaid. If you are trying to replicate this wreath exactly how I did it, otherwise just choose whatever ribbon you love, and you do want to cut them a little bit longer than your deco mesh to help them kind of stick out and show off if that's how you want it to look. And then I'm just taking some of the smaller ribbon, and I cut them in 9-inch cuts as well. The next thing I want to do is just roll my little deco mesh up into this cute little curly roll. So if you've ever rolled up a burrito, or just, you know, kind of roll into a roll, I guess it's super easy, but it's not anything that's earth shattering. You just roll it into a cute little roll, and there you have it. And take whatever ribbon of choice that you want, lay that on top of your little cute little bundle of rolls, and there's going to be 3 of the deco mesh to each bundle, and you're just going to put your ribbon on top of it, and then take your pipe cleaner and pipe cleaner that together. So easy, you guys. There's no way to mess this up. Don't fear if your mesh frays, just trim it off. Don't fear if your mesh is kind of wonky. It's going to be totally fine because once it's all kind of squished together, you're really not going to notice. So the hardest thing for me really working with mesh is that it just has a tendency to do whatever it wants. So that's my own little personal probably control issue, honestly. But be patient with it and give it a little roll here. Now I did want to let you guys know that I'm going every other color. So I did yellow and then brown and then yellow. And you can do that when you alternate your colors. So for this wreath, I used 3 rolls of yellow and 2 rolls of brown. Now I'm adding a little bundle of the smaller ribbons, and with the smaller ribbons I just layer them on top of each other. I chose the sparkly orange and the cute little pumpkin ribbon that they put out at Dollar Tree. You can also find small ribbon like this very similar at the craft stores, usually for about 99 cents or even less if you use a coupon. So again, I'm just making these cute little burrito, taquito, whatever kind of rolls that you want to think about, but just think about just rolling something together. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can see mine are very imperfect. And you can also use a chip clip to hold your little rolls together. That can help save your fingers if you have problems with your hands. Now I'm adding the chevron ribbon on top and then again just twist tying the back. So the best thing to do is to get a bunch of these bundles all ready. And then the last one I wanted to show with you guys how to make was this one with the little mesh tubing. If you ever wonder what to do with that mesh tubing, it's super fun to use in a deco mesh wreath. So I rolled my little bundles together, and then you're just going to take the mesh tubing, lay it on top of the bundle and make a couple little loops, just 2 loops on either side, and then tie that pipe cleaner on. Again, super easy and not hard at all. I just want to encourage you guys to give it a try. So now I'm going to start, and I'm going to put one of the bundles, so you can see right here with my little pipe cleaner. You just take it and you pipe cleaner it on to the outward edge of the witch hat wreath. So I do 2 on the outer edge, and then I alternate 2 on the inner edge, and then you go 2 on the outer edge and 2 on the inner edge, and I do that all the way down the entire wreath. And you'll see it's sectioned off into sections. For the larger sections, you'll want to put about 4 to 5 bundles, and then on the smaller sections, only about 2 bundles, but you can really kind of play with it and see what you have going on. Sometimes you'll find that you don't need quite as many, and sometimes you'll find you may need to go back in and touch it up with an extra little bundle of mesh. But you'll also want to kind of squish them together just a little bit so they look all nice and fluffy and full. So you're just going to continue to add your bundles, and you want to make a pattern. So I started with the plaid ribbon, and then with the chevron ribbon, and then with the smaller ribbon, and then the little mesh tubing, and then I just start that pattern over as I work my way down the witch hat wreath. Comment, let me know if you guys have questions. This isn't hard, I promise. It's kind of hard to explain though, I guess. I'm sure you guys can tell what I'm doing with my fingers, but again, you just tie your little bundles of mesh on to the outward edge of your witch hat wreath, and then you tie the next 2 on to your inward edge, the little part that's kind of sticking out. So there you guys have it, and you continue to work your magic as you go. You can also fluff your larger ribbons and bundles as you see fit. And then once you have all of your bundles attached and fluffied up, you continue to give it a good fluffing, which you guys know I love to do. And then next part, we're going to make a beautiful bow. So I'm going to use my Easy Bow Maker, and you can get it on Deco Exchange, on Amazon, or any craft store. And you're just going to take a pipe cleaner and pop it down into the center part, and then you're going to start out with your ribbon. So I chose chevron ribbon, and I started out making an 8-inch bow and then ended up having to remake it because it was actually too big, believe it or not. So it ended up needing to be about 6 to 7 inches. And when I say 6 to 7 inches, I mean on either side of the ribbon. So on the Easy Bow Maker, it's super easy because it has it all measured out. So I'm starting out with chevron ribbon, and then I'm going in with this brown plaid ribbon, and I'm just continuing to work my way back and forth. And when they say it's an easy bow maker, let me tell you, it's super easy. Now I'm adding this cute little Dollar Tree little red truck ribbon. I wanted to use this on a larger project bow because the little red truck seems to get lost when you're making a smaller project bow. It's the only thing about this ribbon I would say that I kind of struggled to use. I wanted to really give it a good show, and so now I'm using some of that Dollar Tree Pretty Fall Leaf ribbon, and this is going to make just a big beautiful bow. Now if you don't have an easy bow maker, don't fret. I have a really great bow video. I'm going to link it in the description box of my YouTube video here, and you guys can just click on that and you can make a really easy Olivia bow. Now I took a pipe cleaner and I just pipe cleanered that into the side of my little scarecrow hat wreath, and then I'm giving it a nice good fluffing, and I did end up having to trim my tails a little bit because it looked a little bit crazy with really long tails. So the other thing I want to let you guys know is to make sure you guys cut that little cute dovetail triangle at the end of your bow tails. The next thing I want to do is pop this little scarecrow into the top, and then I'm also going to add some darling sunflowers. I also added that cute little sign up there. That was a little Dollar Tree sign I took apart, and then some sparkling leaves, and then of course I made a cute little bow for the top and then added a sunflower, and here it is in all its glory. Oh my goodness, how cute and adorable. Now let me tell you, we're thankful in this home, especially for our puppy Bear. We had a little bit of a scare with him. He had an upset tummy, and of course being a new puppy mommy, I panicked. Anyway, he got checked out by the vet and he's okay. So I just had to give you guys an update on Bear, but check out this super adorable scarecrow wreath. I mean, this is going to bring a smile to our face every time we come to our front door, and we're out here a lot more now because we have to take the puppy to go potty outside. So anyway, I just thought that I would share that with you guys. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to make a super adorable Dollar Tree pumpkin mat. So you just take a Dollar Tree mat. This is just a regular old black mat, and then this little felt pumpkin. I found this at Dollar Tree as well, and then I'm using the Rust-Oleum 2X spray paint. This is a satin spray paint. I suggest satin or flat for this project, and then you are going to have to give it a really nice healthy dose. I believed I used about half a can for this. Now I wasn't super particular on turning it completely white. I did just want to give a cute little pumpkin outline, but check this out, how adorable. And I'm going to go back in with a Sharpie marker and outline the edges of the pumpkin, but how cute does this look layered at my front door to give it that cute little pumpkin look. Bear is helping me decorate my front porch for fall. We set some mums out, and he just has to check on everything that's going on. I put some yellow mums on either side of my door, and then the little purple mums on either side. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this cute tobacco basket that I got at Dollar General. It was about $10, and then I just hot glued some foam down at the base, and then I'm going to take some of these Dollar Tree leaves, and I just cut them off of their stem, and I'm going to pop some stem leaves in, and then these cute little leaves that we did in an earlier DIY, and they're just so easy to play with. So I only ended up using 3 bundles of leaves for this project, and then the little burlap leaves. What I love about the tobacco basket wreath is if you don't have a lot of money to spend on florals, or you don't want to use a lot of florals, this is really the perfect alternative. So a couple of dollars if you can reuse your tobacco basket. I shared with you guys one over the lemon season. I've shared with you guys some neutral ways to do this one. You just leave a spot in the center to pop a bow in, and you are good to go. Just a little tip there for you to save money on a budget, and then just have something really beautiful to decorate that's kind of an alternative. I did pop some leaves into the base of this, and then a couple over at the top, but again, you do do want to leave a big space if you're going to add a bow. You don't have to add a bow. You could always add some pumpkins or a little scarecrow or whatever suits your fancy and floats your boat. And then once you have enough of it filled out, you can begin to think about your bow. You can also add in a cute little Dollar Tree mini sign. This autumn blessing sign is the perfect one. So for this DIY, you just add some hot glue to the back of your sign and then a dab of hot glue and then the pipe cleaner. And then I just take a tag and layer a tag on top of that or any scrap piece of ribbon, and you can tie any Dollar Tree sign directly on to a wreath. So easy, you guys. Now I'm going to take my easy bow maker and cheat again, and I'm going to make this cute little easy bow. You pop a pipe cleaner down into the base of your easy bow maker, and then I'm going to go about 6 inches across on either side. I'm starting out with this chevron ribbon. I just thought that would be a fun little pop of color by the front door. I love this chevron ribbon, and I needed to finish up the rest of that roll. Now I decided to add some fall leaves. Again, I really want some color because I'm going to use this outside my front door, and there's those colorful mums, so I did want this to be really fun and colorful. Again, I'm going 6 inches across, and I'm dovetailing the ends of my ribbon by cutting a little upward triangle. The next ribbon I decided to use was some of this Dollar Tree buffalo check plaid ribbon. Can we all get an amen and a hallelujah for Dollar Tree finally putting out some buffalo check plaid ribbon? This is kind of a maroon color, and I am holding back on using a lot of it quite yet because I do want to use some of it for my Christmas decor, but I couldn't resist because I did use those fall leaves that have more of that deep beautiful kind of burgundy color or wine color, or it's almost just like a reddish color. I don't know. Comment, let me know what you guys think this color would be. It almost looks brick red wine. That's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to pop my whole bow off and then just tie it off with a little pipe cleaner, and then I just pop that into the center of my tobacco basket, and it floats in there just perfectly. Give it a nice good fluffing. You guys know that's the secret to any bow. Fluff, 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 and then when you think you're done, you got to fluff some more. And so there you have it. So easy, so fabulous on a budget. It looks like something you would buy at a high-end boutique, and we did it for next to nothing. So check it out. On one side of my house, I put the cute little tobacco basket. I've never actually decorated this side with a tobacco basket. In fact, I almost feel like my center part wreath needs to be bigger on my scarecrow, but I'm not going to do a bigger wreath because I am going to do a big garland over the door. So that is going to take center stage. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you guys a super adorable little pumpkin. We're going to start out with one of the orange Dollar Tree pumpkins and just spray paint it white. Once I sprayed my pumpkin white, I did let it dry for about 2 to 3 hours, and then I'm using this piece of lace. This is the lace I use for all of my spray painting projects, and it's just inexpensive thrift store like polyester lace, so don't anybody cringe. It's not an antique vintage piece, but I am going to lay it on top of my pumpkin, and then I decided to go with this really beautiful crimson color, and I'm just going to spray paint that on top of the pumpkin. And oh my goodness, you guys are going to be in awe when you see the finished project. And remember, just choose any color that you're decorating with that you love. Look at this gorgeous beauty. How pretty did this come out? Oh my goodness, I am so crushing on this. You could always add a pretty bow and some bling, but I want to live with it for just a minute before I really go over the top and add too many goodies to that. So here is how the entire thing turned out, and I'm telling you, my little assistant bear today was just such a blessing to me. He is so adorable, and he brings me so much joy, especially since my kiddos are off to school now, and he definitely keeps me on my toes as well. So comment and let me know, as always, what was your favorite DIY in this video? I love to hear which DIYs you guys love to see me do. It kind of helps me plan for some of the next ones. And which colors are you all decorating for spring? Now, I do have a giveaway going on right now. It's a $50 gift card to burlapfabric.com. So don't forget to comment down below. Now, the secret question is, what is your favorite Halloween candy treat? If so, let me know. I have to know what you guys love as a little sweet treat splurge. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, you're going to need 3 ceramic pumpkins and some fall foliage. Now I'm going to take some of the Dollar Tree fall foliage and just begin to glue it around the top part of my first pumpkin. So this is going to be the base of the pumpkin. Now these are the little ceramic pumpkins that Dollar Tree has out right now, so you guys should be able to find them in your store. And I'm going to continue to glue different kind of colors of foliage layered around each other, and that's going to give my pumpkin something to adhere to. What we're going to do is make a Dollar Tree pumpkin topiary. So you see pumpkin topiaries all over, and they're so beautiful, but they're really pricey. The great thing about the Dollar Tree pumpkins is there's always a little hole in the bottom, which makes them perfect for creating a topiary. I don't know that I've ever done one of these, and I don't know why it's taken me so long. So I'm going to continue to glue just pretty wheatgrass and some little berries, and I even added in some of these little tiny white flowers. So here's how it looks once you get your first layer done, and then you just add a big dollop of hot glue and add that second layer. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in some more berries and more fall goodies. Now for the next step of the pumpkin topiary, we're going to glue more leaves onto the top part of the pumpkin and then add a big old dollop of hot glue and add your last little pumpkin. And I did use one that was a little bit smaller than the bottom two, but really you all could use any Dollar Tree pumpkins to make a very similar topiary. And they have so many cute ones out right now with so many different adorable designs. Always check the bottom and make sure there's a little hole, and that way your pumpkin will stack so easily onto your topiary. And then I did decide to add a little bit more foliage and flowers and berries in and around the base of that second pumpkin. And then of course I had to go a little bit extra and even add some to the top. The other thing I decided to do was go ahead and take some of this beautiful Mackenzie Childs inspired ribbon and just tuck some pretty ribbon in and around that second layer of the pumpkin. So this step is definitely optional, but I've seen these beautiful topiaries on the Mackenzie Childs website and on Pinterest, and they're so pretty. And again, you guys could definitely customize this to suit your decor. So maybe y'all are doing purples or blues, just add whatever beautiful ribbons and flowers that you might have. Now these are Dollar Tree mini pumpkins, so try to think about picking up little flowers that are more of the mini size, or you can always trim them down like I did with those leaves. So continue to add pretty bits and bobs just to fill out your beautiful pumpkin. So once I had it all my pretty bits and bobs, you can pop your pumpkin on top of a little planter or even one of those little boxes. We had painted that in another video, but I just popped it into my tablescape here. It is so beautiful and so festive and a great way to decorate your table and do it on a teeny tiny budget. I am absolutely in love with this. So fun and fabulous and really fairly easy to do. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take another one of the Dollar Tree ceramic pumpkins, and this one already comes in white, but you could always paint one white. And then I'm going to take my Sharpie and just draw lines down my pumpkin. So what I want to do with this pumpkin is create a Mackenzie Childs inspired mini pumpkin. I'm then going to draw lines around my pumpkin to create this square. So I ended up, for this little ceramic pumpkin, I drew 4 slots down. So I hope that makes sense, to where there's a little checkerboard here. Now, I have had some of you all tell me that you're doing your checkerboard pattern with a Sharpie marker, which you could totally do. I wanted to try it to see if it works, and it actually does. You may want to have a couple of markers on hand because the tip might get kind of dull. I usually paint mine, which can be a little bit more tedious as well. So I did go ahead and color in a couple of them just to show you guys that this is something that's attainable and easy to do. You could also look for a Sharpie that has a wider tip. That might work as well. And they do make paint markers. So those are some tips. Now I decided to switch to a paintbrush, and I'm using a smaller tip paintbrush. That way I have a little bit more control over painting my little checkerboard shape here. So I'm just going to continue to go in with my checkerboard paint, and I am using a glass acrylic paint that you can get at Michael's. However, you don't have to use a glass paint. My Michael's was actually low on paints, and so this was one of the options, and I thought I would try it, and it actually works pretty well. You do have to give it time in between coats to dry. So just some little tips there. I want to encourage you guys to try this. It's not as hard as you think, and it's only a $1 pumpkin. So if you mess up, you could always paint over it, or just give yourself a little grace and have some fun and go for it. And here's how my pumpkin looked. I did use 2 coats of paint, and I also used a gold paint marker to outline my little checkerboard squares. They sell the paint markers at Dollar Tree, and I found one at Michael's that I like that has a little bit wider tip than the Dollar Tree one. But here it is on top of this beautiful topiary, and we are actually going to create this topiary on a teeny tiny budget. I am so excited to share this with you guys. So I found this topiary on the Mackenzie Childs website for $750. It was discounted to $350, but I knew we could create it using Dollar Tree and budget-friendly supplies. So I'm starting out with this Waverly white chalk paint and one of these Dollar Tree planters. But if you guys can't find this Dollar Tree planter, that's okay. You can always go to Walmart and find a plastic planter, and it doesn't have to be square. It can really be any size. In fact, I would have probably preferred for mine to be round, but I'm trying to use what I already have in my craft stash. So I'm taking my chalk paint and I'm chalk painting a nice generous layer of chalk paint on the entire planter, and then I'm going to let that dry for about an hour and a half and then go back in and chalk paint it again. I think I used 3 coats just to make sure it was really coated really well. Now I'm taking some painter's tape and I'm going to create stripes with my painter's tape and my Sharpie marker. I want to do stripes on this planter to kind of create that really cool Mackenzie Childs look. You could also go back in and do a checkerboard pattern, which I will probably do on another topiary design, but for this one I decided stripes was the way that I wanted to go. So once I had my stripes marked out, I'm going to go in with a wider paintbrush and just paint my stripes down the front of the planter. So again, give yourself some grace. This really doesn't have to be perfect. If you study the Mackenzie Childs designs, they're not perfect, and really any hand painted object or item that you see like in a high-end designer boutique boutique is going to have some flaws in it. So I think that's what I really love just to keep in mind when I'm painting, is that it doesn't have to be perfect. It really can, the imperfections can be really beautiful and make it look more handmade rather than manufactured. So that's just a little tip for you guys on that, but continue to paint your stripes, take a deep breath, and have fun with it. And here's how it looked when I was finished painting my stripes. I did paint another layer of paint over that. Now I'm using my Arteza gold paint. This is a really pretty metallic gold. You could also use a metallic craft paint really from any craft store or Walmart. This is just an acrylic Arteza paint, which is just a really nicer acrylic paint, but again, any will do. And I did use about 2 layers of that. And so here's how that planter looks once it's done being painted, but there's more steps and more layers, and I'm promising you guys I'm going to share with you how to build this entire topiary. I have been drooling over the Mackenzie Childs one for months now, and I honestly wasn't sure that we could do it on a budget, but here we go. Now we're going to take this little candlestick. I found it at the thrift store for $2. Dollar Tree also carries a candlestick about this size. I can't find them in my stores. I know a lot of people do find them, but you can also check Walmart or your Dollar General. So I chalk painted it white with 2 layers, and now I'm going in and I'm hand painting a checkerboard pattern. I will tell you that this was very tedious. This is a little bit more of an advanced project. I had a hard time with it, so if you're nervous about it, you could always just leave this solid one color, or you could just paint stripes, or you could go for it and do a checkerboard and redo it about 3 times like I did. I admit it was really tough for me. I don't know why the candlestick is tough, but I will get better as I go along. So here was my final attempt and what I'll share with you guys. I did just decide not to trace out lines and just do a checkerboard pattern freestyle by hand, which actually ended up being easier for me for whatever reason, I'm not sure. But I went ahead and painted my checkerboard pattern. I used 2 coats of the black paint, and then I went in with my gold paint marker and I just outlined the checkerboard pattern. But this is at the base of the planter, so it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. And then here's what it looks like when I finally got done. Now I'm going to use my E6000 glue, which you can get at Walmart or the craft store, and it is going to be a heavy duty bonding glue. It does have a bit of an odor, but it is going to help this planter stay on my candlestick. And then I'm going to use my hot glue for that temporary hold so I can work with this project without it breaking loose. And so I'm just going to run a little bit of hot glue around where, kind of in and around where the E6000 glue was, and voila, there we have that. Now it is attached and ready to roll. Now this is another part that I'm going to share with you guys. Super fun. Okay, so Dollar Tree is going to be putting out carvable pumpkins. You're going to want to grab a couple of these because they're amazing for DIYs. They don't quite have them out in stores yet, but if you're a pumpkin crazy girl like me and you have some left over from last year, or if you have really any pumpkin that's going to work for a topiary, go ahead and chalk paint 1 or 2 of those white. I ended up only using 1, and you do want to chalk paint it probably about 2 to 3 coats to get a really good layer. But these are awesome for a topiary, and I'll show you guys why in just a sec. But that Waverly White chalk paint, thank you, my follower Janice. Girl, you just rocked my world when you sent this to me in the mail. I was so thankful. So a huge shout out to Janice for sending me some chalk paint. We're going to be chalk painting a lot of stuff because she sent me an extra large container of it. I've been out for weeks, so it's a big deal. Anyway, I decided to go ahead and make this one the striped pumpkin. So I'm going to do 3 pumpkins in my topiary, and this one's going to be the striped one. Again, I'm just using a Sharpie marker to trace out my lines, and then I'm going to go back in and paint the stripes similar to how we did the planter. You're just going to trace it out and then paint it. I am going in with acrylic black paint, and I'm just going to pull the stripes down as I go. This was relatively easy, although the foam carvable pumpkins that Dollar Tree puts out, they're a little bit bumpy. So I will tell you that it did take a good heavy layer of at least 2 coats of that acrylic paint to get the good coverage that I desired. Now I'm going to make my checkerboard pumpkin, and this pumpkin is a little bit larger than the Dollar Tree carvable pumpkin, and to be honest with you, it came from Michael's. I used my half off coupon and got it for about $10 to $11. So I did go ahead and draw the stripes down the pumpkin, and now I'm going to draw rings around the pumpkin to create my checkerboard pattern. This is similar to that smaller pumpkin that we created, except for it's just going to be on a larger scale. Now, because you're not going to see the bottom of the pumpkin, I didn't worry about doing detailed checks. If you guys can see up underneath there, there's not any detailed checks underneath the pumpkin. I just didn't think that was necessary, and it would have made a whole extra step. And also I do notice that some people, when they're painting these checks, they mark an X so they don't skip the pattern. That might be a little helpful tip. It seems like the longer I practice painting these, the better that I've gotten, and I don't skip the pattern nearly as often. But you can always go back in with some white paint if that does happen to you. Also, I didn't show it in this painting, but I use a little bit of gold paint to drag through the paint on my second layer of painting. To be honest with you, after standing and painting this many pumpkins, I did have to sit down for just a little bit in my living room, pop on a show, and do more of the detail work there. But it's super easy. All you guys do is take your paintbrush and drag it in a little bit of gold or white paint to give it some accent, or you can just leave it as is, and that's super fun. If you're not patient to paint these, I have seen some checkerboard and harlequin pattern pumpkins at the at-home store and some of the different craft stores. So check those stores. All you have to do is remove the stem, and you could easily make a topiary, again, if you don't have the patience. The other idea for you, if you didn't want to hand paint a pumpkin in this style, is you could use a napkin, a Mackenzie Child's napkin, and decoupage the napkin onto the pumpkin, which I am going to share a DIY with you all on that, because I want to give everybody so many different options. And the other thing is I'm going to share with you guys a lot of different fall decor styles. Like in the last video I shared with you guys, I shared with you all neutrals. So this is more of a bold black and white style. The last one was neutrals. I'm going to be doing some pinks and blues, just all different kinds of colors and styles. So definitely stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of fun. Now, I'm going to take one of those Dollar Tree gift boxes, and this was actually from my sweet friend Wendy. She sent this to me, and I just popped a hole in that gift box. It's the bottom of it flipped over, and then I popped a hole in that pumpkin, and then I'm using a floral stem, and I'm just going to push the floral stem into the bottom of the box and into the bottom of the pumpkin, and I'm going to pop that pumpkin back into the planter, and voila, we have something to keep our pumpkin held down into without using a bunch of icky glue. I don't think that would be the best idea. You guys should try it and let me know how it goes. Now I'm using another floral stem, and when I say floral stem, it's just the stem of a floral, and I'm popping the carvable pumpkin in, and then I did hot glue the tiny pumpkin at the top. Now is the fun part that I absolutely love, and I'm taking some Dollar Tree leaves, and this little Dollar Tree pumpkin pick is gorgeous. You guys keep your eye out for it in your fall Dollar Tree. It's in the fall floral section. It's so pretty. I think it's going to sell out. It's just so gorgeous, and the pumpkins are like this pretty copper color, but I'm just using Dollar Tree florals. I'm popping them into the base. There's no styrofoam here, but the leaves really kind of hold these in really tightly. This is going to go as a table centerpiece or next to my mantle, so I'm not really worried about the florals falling out. But if you were worried about that, you may want to invest in some floral foam instead of the Dollar Tree gift box that I used for the base of this. I am, again, trying to use everything I have on hand and just have fun with it and use what I have in my stash. I have a lot of crafting supplies. I'm also using some of these pretty glittering fall picks because I do have gold in this project. So here it is. Oh my goodness. I think it's just as good as the $750 version. Okay, maybe it's not as perfect, maybe it's not as high end, but I'm really proud of this. I made it handmade. I think you guys can do this too on a budget. I really didn't know if we could pull this one off, but we're going to make more of these in different colors and styles, and I hope you guys try this and know that we can do this on a budget for much less than the hundreds of dollars. And I do have mad respect for the Mackenzie Child's painters and designers, completely 100%. My budget just doesn't allow it, so I have to dupe these things. I have to share them with you guys. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take one of these super adorable Dollar Tree owls. Now, I think that they are adorable in their original form. So if you love the ceramic hand-painted look of the owls in their original form, definitely go for it. But there is a bit of a modern farmhouse flair to these DIYs. So I thought going in and painting it just completely black would be really cool. I did one that I painted chalk painted white in my last DIY video. So if you guys like that shabby chic, more neutral farmhouse look, definitely go for that. But here it is. And I did even go in and add a little bit of gold paint to kind of give it some accent. The other thing I think I'm going to do with these is I'm going to paint a checkerboard design on the sides of them. I have seen Mackenzie Child's owls that have like the checkerboard design on the side. I thought that would be really cool. And then here's the little white owl that I painted. I thought that they would just be such a cute little pair, little buddies on the tablescape. And here it is all mixed in together. And I am telling you guys, I honestly think that this topiary is probably the most wonderful, probably one of my favorite DIYs I've ever done. And we did it on such a tiny budget. So comment and let me know, what was your favorite DIY in this video, and which one will you all be recreating? I love to hear what you're inspired to do. And I know so many of you all have been loving the Mackenzie Childs. In the last video, I also shared with you guys a Mackenzie Childs pattern in brown and white. So in case maybe you don't care for the strongness of the black and white, I totally get that. You could do brown and white. I've also had a lot of you all in my group sharing blue and white check and pink and white check, which I think is adorable. I need to try some of those as well. But here it is all mixed in to this fabulous tablescape. You guys, I am so honestly crushing on this. I don't ever want to say that one of my DIYs is a favorite, but I really think that this one is by far one of my most favorite, definitely for this season. This topiary is just so crazy. So here was the first episode in our fall episode, and here's the second episode we did with the neutrals, and then here's the third episode. So this is my I Love Fall series. I'll link the whole playlist down below and some from last year for you guys to binge watch. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to make a super adorable family blessing sign. So I'm going to take this Bless the Family Beside Us and the Love Between Us sign, as well as these two buffalo check plaid bridal signs. These are actually in the picture frame section at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove the backing off the two smaller signs. So I want the smaller signs to have kind of a 3D effect popping out from the buffalo check plaid signs, and I just used my pen to kind of mark them out. That way I know exactly where I want to hot glue. So I'm just going to hot glue a little dibbity dabbity of hot glue onto the back of my signs and then gently place them on here. So we're actually going to cover up the second sign with one of those cute little Dollar Tree picture frames. These are so adorable, rustic, and fabulous. I did want to remove the backing, that way it sits flush against it. So again, I'm just adding some hot glue, and then I'm going to pop it on here. So this is something that you would see in a Kirkland's or a high-end decor store, and we are making it on such a budget. Now I decided to go ahead and add a bow to this just to kind of give it this blooming effect. I wanted to put it in my entryway table or next to my faux mantle in my living room. So I'm just taking some Dollar Tree ribbon and I'm gluing the ribbons from end to end. This is a great little way to make this kind of a stacked layered bow, and you just make one each about an inch shorter. That way they can all show. You're going to give it a nice good fluffing, tie it off with your pipe cleaner, and then you can pop it on to your adorable family blessings sign. Now of course I had to go a little bit extra and pop in some of this greenery. So I just used some stray greenery that I had laying around in my craft stash, and then I did go for a bit of an autumn feel with popping in some of these leaves and some of these little Dollar Tree branches. But get creative and use what you guys have on hand. This doesn't have to cost a lot. With just a couple of picture frames, some bows, and some creativity, you guys, the sky is the limit. Now if you don't have the little clip picture frame, you guys could always just make your own with a clothespin and a cute little frame. So kind of think outside the box and just go for it. I'm popping this adorable little fall picture here, and here it is kind of popped into my mantle setting. It's so fun and fabulous, and on a teeny tiny budget, you guys cannot go wrong with this project.
For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take about 7 bundles of the Dollar Tree leaves and also this Dollar Tree plunger, and we are going to create a beautiful blooming fall tree. Now bear with me. I did see this on This Southern Girl Can. Go check out her channel. She's a fabulous crafter, but you just take in, you hot glue your leaf stem to the top part of your plunger here, and then you're going to want to reinforce it with just a bit of wire. This wire is from Dollar Tree. You all could also use a pipe cleaner. Just use whatever you have on hand is fine. And you're going to kind of stagger your bundles. I also kept most of mine towards the top, and I believe I used about 6 to 7 bundles, and you kind of turn your plunger once you get one side full and then continue to hot glue and add more of them. And again, just however full you want your tree to look is what you'll want to go for. I didn't go all the way down the tree. I just kept them mainly at the top, and then I kind of parted the top part of the tree, and I'm using this jute twine. It's actually wired, and you get this at the Dollar Tree, but you could also just use the jute twine that's in the automotive section, or you could use burlap. Dollar Tree also has that burlap wired ribbon. Pretty much anything that's kind of the base of a tree color you'll want to use to wrap your stems with. Then I took this Dollar Tree little galvanized planter. I flipped my plunger inside out kind of, and then popped it into the planter, and then I'm just reinforcing all of the sides with a bit of Dollar Tree styrofoam. This is so fun and fabulous. I honestly wasn't sure if I could make this come out well, but I really am feeling it, that it is really going a lot better than planned. So I'm using some of that Dollar Tree greenery moss, and I'm popping that into the base because I just wanted to fill it out. Now I wish I would have had kind of some more fall colored moss, but I may pick that up and add that around the top, but kind of use what you have on hand. Now the other thing to make your tree look a little bit more realistic is to take some of the stems off one of your leaf bundles and just kind of hot glue those in and around the tree. I also wrapped one of those little battery packs and popped that into the top of my tree to give my tree a light up effect. So I just hot glued it to the very top and then just kind of wound it around. And this is just one of the tiny little battery operated ones that you get at Dollar Tree. So here is how it turned out, and I am crushing on this, you guys. I'm so excited that I got several of those little galvanized planters because then I can do more. I would like to do another tree in a different color. So definitely fun and fabulous. I think maybe the whole project cost me about $10, and then here it is displayed on my dining room table. I wanted to show you guys a different setting with the lights kind of set low. You can see the little pretty kind of twinkling fairy lights. Well, they're not actually twinkling, but they're just beautiful, and I think that it just gives this romantic glow, and it's such a beautiful project. I've always admired those trees, but I've never wanted to spend the money on them. So for the next DIY, I'm going to share with you guys how I took these candlesticks that I found at the thrift store. They were originally from Hobby Lobby, and I chalked paint them with about 2 to 3 coats of chalk paint. And then I want to take my black paint, and in the ridges, I want to just add stripes to them. So you guys know by now probably that I have been crushing on black and white pops for fall and kind of that Mackenzie Childs inspired look, which I absolutely love, but the prices are just a little bit too much for me. So if you guys have a candlestick that has kind of these grooves in it, again, this came from Hobby Lobby, but I did find it at the thrift store for only a couple of dollars. I always suggest that you guys check your local thrift store for candlesticks. I feel like it's really honestly the best place, but if you use your Hobby Lobby 40% off coupon, you can probably find a good deal as well. Now I did find that the stripes were a little bit difficult to paint, and so I'm taking a Sharpie marker and I'm adding markings, and that will hopefully help me guide, and it actually did help me guide a lot better. And where it's a little bit more narrow at the top, here's another tip. I'm using a smaller paintbrush and just painting those little fine spots, and then I switch to a larger end paintbrush to kind of get those bigger areas. I hope that gives you guys some tips. I've really been admiring some beautiful candlesticks on the Mackenzie Childs website, and I think they're at least $100, which definitely isn't in my budget, but once I saw these candlesticks at the thrift store, I just knew that I could make them fabulous on a budget.
Now, I wasn't totally for sure what I wanted to do with the top part, but I decided to go for it and draw a bit of a checkerboard pattern. Sometimes it can be challenging to do the checkerboard pattern when it's a curved item, but I did just make two lines, one line all the way around, and then I just drew the lines up and down. So that was pretty good. And then I was able to paint a really cute little checkerboard on here. Now, you guys, I'm gonna have to tell you that my checkerboard patterns are not perfect. So just try this out. And if they're not perfect, you can always paint over them. The next thing I wanted to do was use some gold paint and highlight those pretty details, the scrolly details in the gold paint. And I use about 3 coats with my gold paint. I use the Arteza gold paint. Look for a metallic gold paint. It kind of really helps it pop and makes it look a little bit more expensive and regal. So I did this to the top part and then also the bottom part. And I did find 2 candlesticks, so I was able to paint 2 of them. And this was probably a 2-day process because it's a little bit intense, but it's so well worth it in the end to have a fun project that you've been dreaming of on a teeny tiny budget. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take one of these Dollar Tree Pitberry garlands, and I honestly have not really known what to do with these. But if you take one and then just gently begin to unwind it and pull it apart, they make the prettiest high-end decor piece for your candles. So I love these flickering flameless candles. I find mine on Amazon, and I'll link them below in my Amazon store. Dollar Tree does have flameless candles, but our store honestly has not carried any in almost a year. So I just grabbed some off Amazon. They're really nice quality and they last super long. So here it is, so fun and fabulous on a budget. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take one of those cute little Dollar Tree houses and then this paper that I found at Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby has paper for $1.25, which I think is a super great deal. And I'm just going to rework the inside of this house to make it more of like a cute little fall house. So I'm going to take the little wooden piece and trace out the shape of it and then cut it out. Now I did find that I had a bit of a problem with having the paper be a little bit too big. So if you guys have any tips on the perfect way to trace these and cut them, let me know. And then I just did add some Mod Podge to the inside of my project, and then I just went ahead and popped my little piece of paper in here. And it reminds me of the good old days when I was a little girl. One of my favorite things to do is make shoebox shadow boxes. Let me know if you guys ever did that, where you take an old shoebox and then I would cut out my mom's magazines and just create this whole home inside of a shoebox. So anyway, I'm popping in some little cute leaves here, some fall leaves. And if you guys saw my last haul, I found these super adorable little owls, and that's who I knew needed to live in this house. So here he is. He comes on a clip, so you can just easily remove the clip. I decided he needed to sit on top of a pumpkin because he is a wise old owl, and I wanted to be able to see him. I didn't want him buried down in the leaves. So I just popped him on top of the little pumpkin, and oh my goodness, so adorable. And really, you guys could customize this with any little tiny miniatures you have around. This would also be a great project for your kiddos or grandkids. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take one of those galvanized buckets that I found at the Dollar Tree and then some of these fall florals. I'm going to hot glue a piece of foam that you get at Dollar Tree down into the bottom, and then I'm going to start out with these pretty longer kind of wheat colored stems. I'm going to add in some of this fall looking eucalyptus, and all of these florals are from the Dollar Tree. If you choose florals that are in kind of a similar hue, it can give it a little bit more of a high-end look. Now I decided to keep all of these florals on their original stem and I just pull them apart, and that makes them nice to kind of bloom out. So you can see that I'm leaving room in the center to add some more pretty florals. I also love these daisies that have these kind of little burlap pieces in them. Very pretty. And again, all of these colors are in kind of that deeper burnt orange fall look. Now I decided to add in some leaves to just kind of tie everything together. Again, I'm fanning them out so they can kind of all pop in here together. And then the next thing I wanted to do was add those feathers. I love feathers. I always see them in the more high-end designs. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take one of those Dollar Tree velvet pumpkins and some of those Dollar Tree gems. I love these adhesive gems. You get them in the Crafters Square section. Now don't panic. These pumpkins came out last year. Hopefully they'll put them out again this year. If you see them, grab them. They are amazing. Now you could also paint one of those carvable pumpkins in a pretty fall color and do this same little trick here. So I'm just again running those gems down the pumpkin. This is a very high-end look that I'm seeing out with a lot of the more expensive designers. They're adding jewels to their pumpkins. Now all you have to do to get your jeweled pumpkin to stay in your arrangement is to pop it on the end of a floral stem. You can also add a dab of hot glue, and that will really help it stay on there really nicely. I also popped one of those cute little Dollar Tree signs in. I just hot glued it to a wooden dowel and then covered up my work with some burlap. So here it is popped in to this little beautiful kind of fall inspired setting by my faux mantle. As always, I ask that you guys comment and let me know what is your favorite DIY in this video. I had a lot of favorites in this video, so I'm not sure I could really even pick. I was very surprised though how well this plunger tree turned out. In fact, I showed it to my family and they were pretty shocked as well. Like they had no clue how I made that happen. So you guys have a little trick up your sleeve this fall. You can make some plunger trees. Now I would recommend also for you to fill it with some rocks at the base if you're going to be setting this outside, because it's not going to be like super sturdy to be going through a lot of like wind and storms. That's just a little tip right there, but I think they would be cute outside, like on a little bench on a fall display. So thank you guys for being here. It is such a true blessing and an honor. Your all comments are just so felt and so warm and lovely. I'm so thankful for this community. The love that you all send to me is so felt, and then you guys are so kind to one another. And I also want to compliment everybody that's posting over in my Facebook group page. It's totally free to join over there, but you guys are so inspiring over there. I'm so proud of all of you for all of your crafting and decorating. I know even just sharing a photo can be a really big step for everybody, so keep up the good work and keep blessing each other with all of your posts and kind comments. And thank you all for being here. I just love you so much. To create this over-the-top fabulous fall decor, we are going to start with this large, it almost looks like an elongated toolbox. I found it at the thrift store for $3. It was a total score. And then I'm going to take these flowers that I bought on clearance. They are at Michael's. They were 70% off, and I do have some foam dropped down into my little base here. I'm starting with these taller orange sunflowers. Now you guys can really find sunflowers pretty much anywhere right now. I always start with my taller pieces, and then I want to mix in greenery. Greenery is a great place to start when you're doing any kind of floral arrangement, and we are going to get really big with this one and go over the top. Now, these are some really pretty smaller orange florals. I'm going to pop them in a little bit further down below, kind of as more of an accent piece. And I want to kind of make them look like they're blooming out. So you can see I kind of have them tilted. Now these sunflowers, again, these are in a bundle. You can buy them at Dollar Tree. I found these, I believe, at Michael's, and they were actually in the summer section. So just a quick little tip, when you look for florals for super cheap, look at their tag, see if they're at the end of the season, which a lot of their summer flowers will work for fall. Because they do have sunflowers everywhere showing for fall. So just I went ahead and put sunflowers on either end, and then I'm continuing to build my flower arrangement. Now I'm going to go really over the top, really big. I almost want to feel like this is going to be a fall wedding display. I did not have planned on this, but you guys, I just went crazy with the flowers. So I popped 3 sunflower bundles in. I sprinkled 1 on each end and then 1 in the center. And then I'm picking them in with these smaller little orange flowers. The other little tip I have for you guys is to cut your stems at varying heights. So you don't want them all the same. Now here I'm picking in some more grass, and this grass again was a summer grass. So look for your summer colors right now that will work for fall that are on clearance. Now, once the end of summer is over and I transition more into fall, I may pull out a little bit of the yellow sunflowers and just put in more leaves. We'll have to see, because this arrangement I'm pretty pleased with at the end. So also don't forget to pick in your greenery in the center and go for some height. That is going to give it some drama. Again, these are more summer flowers. These are just some pretty little kind of trailing flowers. I love to add another dimension. So you guys want to look for more dimension. Now here's some Dollar Tree wheatgrass. This is in kind of that burnt yellow color. I wanted to add more dimension. So just have fun with your flower arrangements. Pick out about 5 to 6 different picks and then all kind of go with the same hue. So these are also Dollar Tree. They're little tiny cream colored flowers. And I'm just popping them in because I do have a lot of a white backdrop. So I didn't want it to be completely stark without any accent pieces. So go dark, light, and then look at the decor around you and try and pull in some of that as well. Now you can see I'm also putting some greenery kind of to the back so you can see it sprigging out and to the side, but have fun with it, you guys. Go for it. Add a ton of flowers. Listen, I wanted this floral arrangement to burst, to just scream happy. I haven't done a really over the top floral arrangement in a while, and you guys can tell I've been missing it. I love to share with you guys how you can have a boutique gorgeous home on a budget. These flowers cost me $40 total because they were 70% off at Michael's. So you guys can also look at Dollar Tree. You can look at Hobby Lobby, use those coupons, shop those sales, and have fun and go for it. Now, the other thing I'm popping in is some more kind of wispy, smaller sunflowers. So a good thing to do too is to look for larger and then smaller and then larger and smaller, and that will help give your arrangement some dimension. And then the next thing I wanted to add was just one more little bundle of some smaller little orangish flowers. These are just so great to pick in, and that way again you're giving dimension and you're giving some different size difference. I'm trimming this off because I want it to be a little bit shorter. So I just put my shorter flowers in front of my arrangement and then leave your stems taller and longer towards the back and the center if you're going to go for this look. Now again, this is totally over the top, and really I just wanted it to scream happiness and joy and just have fun with it. Now here's some of those Dollar Tree feathers. You guys know I'm totally in love with these. I'm going to put them in the front of the arrangement because it's so tall. I didn't want them to get lost, so I want them to kind of cascade out. They also have that kind of bit of raffia or wheat kind of hanging off of them. So again, it's giving more transition and more dimension for the eye to look at. Here's another fun little tip for you all, is to take some of your floral stems and pop your little styrofoam pumpkins onto them. So these are those Dollar Tree velvet pumpkins. I popped several different colors into here. The other thing I went ahead and did is I used a greenery garland, and I mixed that in with a fall garland, and the brown fall garland came from Michael's as well. So I noticed that a lot of like really beautiful fall arrangements have greenery mixed in, which I've really never thought about doing, but I thought it was a great idea. And so here is how it looks after I added all of my flowers, and I just wanted to give you guys some confidence to do a really pretty arrangement. Now you don't have to go this big. If you don't have a mantle, that's okay. You could do this on an entryway table. You could do something smaller on a dining room table or a little cabinet. Just use whatever you all have. This really isn't even a mantle. It's actually just a shelf that Mr. Romantic built for me to kind of make it look like a mantle. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is share with you guys how I created this beautiful bow. So I'm going to take my Easy Bow Maker, and this is just some buffalo check plaid ribbon that I ordered online. You can also find it at Hobby Lobby in their Christmas section. It's a better deal to get it at Hobby Lobby, and Hobby Lobby is also shipping, just a little FYI. So I'm starting out with my Easy Bow Maker, and I added the little pipe cleaner at the bottom, and then I'm doing a 7-inch bow, so it's going to be 7 inches on either side. This is a really large bow, and I'll tell you the reason, because I have a really large floral. Now I'm going in with some of that beautiful Dollar Tree fall leaf ribbon. And I also want to tell you guys that you're going to twist it as you work with a ribbon that has a pattern on the side. So you can see I'm going back and forth and twisting it. And also I'm just making the second loop about 6 inches in length. You can make it the same. The 7-inch seemed a little bit long even for me. And so now I'm going to go ahead and just trim this ribbon off. Always cut a triangle upwards, and that will give you that pretty boutique finish. Now I'm going to go in with this beautiful, this is an orange check ribbon, and this is actually from Michaels. I'm mixing like craft store ribbon and Dollar Tree ribbon, which is another little kind of secret tip that I have. Now, Dollar Tree is actually putting out a lot of really great fall ribbon, so don't be worried if you can't spend the extra on the craft store ribbon, or you only can get out and go to Dollar Tree. That's okay too, but it's fun to mix a little bit more of a high-end ribbon, especially if you can use your coupon and get a great deal on it, and mix that in with some of the Dollar Tree ribbon, because the Dollar Tree ribbon can be a little bit flimsy at sometimes. Now I'm taking this, it's kind of like a Mackenzie Childs inspired ribbon. Again, this is from Amazon. It's not their actual brand, but I'm mixing that in as well. So for the Easy Bow Maker, it's super easy. You just go back and forth with your ribbon. And I also will leave a bow video down below for you guys. Don't worry if you don't have an Easy Bow Maker. I still have a really fabulous video for you guys on how to make an Olivia bow, which I love. I've been cheating though and using my Easy Bow Maker. It just goes so fast and it gives me a little bit of a different bow. So again, I'm dovetailing my ends, and I really just pretty much kept all those other loops about 6 inches long on either side. Now I did splurge and get this pretty pumpkin ribbon. Again, this is from Michaels, but I did use my coupon, so that helped a lot. And I'm just going to go ahead and add that in. Now I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller because I don't want it to get swallowed up in this last loop. And it is my show off ribbon. So I like to leave my prettiest ribbon that I want to show off with the most pattern for the last bow. And it saves ribbon a little bit because you're going to always make that last bow just a little bit smaller, at least I did. And then you're just going to pull it off the Easy Bow Maker, and you're going to kind of cinch it in with your pipe cleaner. And then I wanted to attach it to my arrangement, and my idea was to do cascading bows that matched. I'm going to twin my bows on either side of my arrangement, and I just honestly used a push pin to attach it. So hopefully it doesn't get yanked on. I don't have small children, so it'll be fine. But here is how that arrangement looks. Oh my goodness, you guys can totally do this. The bows, I did a lot of fluffing, and I'll be honest with you all, I will probably do more fluffing. The other thing, I actually ran out of one of the Mackenzie Childs inspired ribbons on one side, so I just kind of had to make do with the buffalo check. If you guys can see on that right hand side that it did come out just a tiny bit different, but that's okay. Now for some of my fall decorating, I found these really cute little pillows on Amazon, and then I'm just using my little Dollar Tree pumpkins right here and some other pumpkins that I had DIY'd. Dollar Tree has some super adorable pumpkins. You guys, you know that I am a pumpkin obsessed, so I just used the cute little pillows I ordered off Amazon, and these are actually pillow covers, which are really great. And then these little cute thrift store pumpkins on either side. I have this cute little rug from Dollar General that I put in front of it. I actually need to redo my floors, so don't look too closely. And then there's that little blanket ladder I shared with you guys a DIY on. It's actually paint sticks. So you can make a blanket ladder out of paint sticks and just make it super adorable. And then there's that DIY Dollar Tree plunger tree that I shared with you guys on. So as always, comment and let me know what you all think about this arrangement. Now you all know that I go totally over the top, crazy with my floral arrangements. I just love to have a big burst of floral in my home for some of my favorite seasons. And can I just tell you, I am so looking forward to fall. We have so much more crafting and decorating to do. I love to start with one big major arrangement and then kind of build the rest of my decor around that. And honestly, I wasn't even for sure where I was going to go with my fall decorating until I started this arrangement. So I hope you guys are loving this and crushing on this as much as I am. And again, I do need to work on my bows, like kind of fluffing them. And you know, when you do an arrangement, like you have to step back and you have to look at things so many different times. So I'll probably play with this quite a bit. So you may need to give me a little bit of a grace on my bows. I can even see that buffalo check plaid ribbon is standing out a little bit more than the other one. So anyway, you guys, thank you all so much for being here. And don't forget to comment down below the secret question, which I'm going to ask you in just a minute. And also subscribe to this YouTube channel. You guys, I love to spoil you with tons of giveaways and tons of budget-friendly ideas. Dollar Tree is my one-stop shop for some of my favorite decorating pieces, especially since I love to go so over the top for all of my holidays with decorating. It just makes me happy, and I'm at home so much because I work from home, so I love for my home to just be kind of cute and adorable.
So thank you all so much for joining me on another fun and fabulous crafty decor adventure. It is such a true blessing and an honor to have you guys here. Don't forget to subscribe and comment down below. I love to hear what you guys are up to, as well as I'm going to have some super amazing giveaways for the upcoming months. You guys, I love to spoil you. Now, I also want to invite you guys to my Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook page, as well as my group page. It's totally free to join over there. All you guys have to do is request to join. I'll approve your request, and you can share photos of your home decor and your DIY projects. And I just want to give a shout out to everybody over there that has the courage to post pictures of what they're up to. Everybody is at a different spot in their crafting and creative journey. And I just want to encourage you guys to keep up the good work and also keep commenting all the kind and encouraging comments on everybody's post. It is so wonderful just to hear nice words spoken. I think that's some way that we can change the world, especially out there on social media, is just to leave kind comments. So thank you guys again for being here. I love you all to the moon and back. Join me over on Instagram to see more of what Bear has going on. I think he's actually getting sleepy. And I just love to share with you guys sneak peeks of my DIY projects and all of that good stuff. So thank you guys again. I love you. And until the next video, we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.